So, guys,
Yo.
Right.
Yeah. I'm back on YouTube once again.
Wait,
Great.
is it 4 Brits and 1 American?
yeah. Isn't that how your country was created in the first place? Or...
I mean, essentially, yeah, actually. We just kind of took your tea and threw it in a harbor.
We forgot that.
Bad mistake, to be honest.
I didn't expect us to start that quickly in the stream with the American versus British thing.
Yeah, but he's not technically American. He lives in Germany.
But I'm an American citizen.
Yeah.
America.
Evening, Mike.
Looks like we got.
As I open my British beer
in the chat.
Evening, John.
So what's going on, lads? How's everybody's Saturday going?
Stressful.
But why? Because you're gonna have to
watching all of One Division for the first time.
Oh wait, you watched the whole series today?
Yeah. 9 episodes. It was pretty.
How did that how did that just mindfuck go for 9 episodes straight? You didn't get the episodic journey like we did.
No, yeah, and I'm not about that life, man. Fuck that.
I love the episodic life.
What's this? One Division?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I cried at that last episode. It brought tears.
Honestly, I was on that couch crying yesterday, and my wife looked at me. She was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "Do you not understand what's happening?" And she was like, "No," and I was like, "Get out, like, go."
What you need to do, Billy, is you need to get rid of the wife and move me in.
Right now, I'm divorced, so.
Hi, David.
I didn't think it was all that, to be honest. I was I was like, I get it. I get why people like that. You know what? I have superhero fatigue real bad. Like,
Okay.
I think I've had my fill of just like games of God. Luckily, I finished that word, because otherwise YouTube would have just gone yoink, taken us off there. I've had my fill of superhero movies. I just think it's just like you got to come with something a bit more original now. Don't get me wrong, One Division was good, but it just feels like it's just more filler. Like I have to to enjoy the Marvel movies. But I have to now participate in so many other things to be a part of the whole storyline. Like, if I want to understand all of the canon, like, so my girlfriend, right? We were watching it together, and my girlfriend doesn't understand the spoilers alert, by the way. If nobody's seen it, if anybody's watching, I apologize. I'm about to spoil like something. So this is your like 3-second warning now. So no, she never understood. I had to explain the importance of Pietro, like the guy has cast as Pietro, and why that was like crucially important, with the Fox buyout and who played who, Quicksilver, and why there was, why there was a bunch of other stuff going on in the, like, why there is no Wanda in the Fox universe and all this stuff, right? I had to explain like the actor and everything, and she was like, "Wow, of course." She was so confused. She was like, "Of course, I'm confused."
If the episode didn't confuse you,
You're like, babe, listen. Let me tell you about the multiverse, and then like 4 hours later, you're still there. Like, I feel you. I did the same.
Than what was left in the episode to explain.
Same thing happened in my
I thought
house.
watching Defenders. I thought watching Defenders was bad because you had to grind through all the other series of all the other people just to make Defenders any sense. So you had to have watched them all. So coming in from that and then going through it all must have. was hard enough watching them, let alone describing them to people afterwards.
But apart from the first 2 episodes of WandaVision, every episode was jam packed full
Yeah.
of stuff. That was, but the
The
first
first
2
two was bad
episodes with
for me.
they were there to set up this whole like what's going on, and like, you know, that was the setup. From episode 3 onwards, it was just like bam, 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 constant, like, you know.
Yeah, definitely. It got going
think-
after episode.
Suppose when, like, Marvel, in my opinion, Marvel do amazing movies. This is kind of their first time doing their own TV series that hasn't been Netflix or ABC or anything like that. So it's
Evening, Stuart.
completely,
Stuart.
Howdy.
completely all away from, like, you know, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff, because that
So
wasn't
Blue
produced by
Harvest is
Marvel.
asking who you guys actually are. So I've already been on the Blue Harvest.
Oh yeah, we
live
should
stream, so-
totally pay attention to the chat, right? Because obviously we're supposed to
So-
still that fucking
Right.
here.
Like
So
the chat is actually asking us questions.
somebody,
already.
There's a
David's
chat.
World, I think David's World asked a question. Yeah, on the bottom left. So David's World asked, "What do you guys collect?" Okay, so to answer Blue Harvest vintage toys and David's Toy World. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. My name's Leo. And what do I collect? I collect anything and everything. If I'm more of a RoboCop kind of fan at the moment, but I just picked up like this pretty cool job lot of Akira stuff. So
Nice.
I picked up. I picked up this. Clown Gang. I got a Canada. These all came together, by the way, just FYI. Much to my my partner's dismay, she's not going to be a fan. I got a Tetsuo, and I got the bike, the bike here, and I got them all for £60.
Wow.
So they more
I kind
statues
of,
than
I kind of
figures?
lucked out there. Yeah, they're all McFarlane toys, so they are definitely more statues than figures. But I mean, they are posable, but they're not fantastically. You know, can't play with them and stuff. But yeah, I picked those all up for about £60, and usually, I mean, just the bike alone can go anywhere from 70 to 100. So I got a pretty sweet deal on that whole job lot. Yeah, I mean, apart from that, some of the latest stuff I've bought, which I mean, I posted in the group anyway. King Shark Pit build a figure, King Shark build a figure. Just I try to go for stuff that's a lot harder. This Akira thing I just bought, that Akira on the throne. I bought that recently. That's just sitting behind me. I like that Tron, by the way, Baz. That's nice.
This isn't a Tron, by the way.
Sure.
This is Automan. It's Automan. It's
Lawman.
one of the guys in Blue Harvest. He's wanting this.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't know that. I see. I've never seen that toy, so I thought it was a Tron figure, man. My bad. Yeah. So that's
No,
what I
this
collect.
was,
Everybody else
this is
wants
quite- I believe this is quite a rare figure, so I only paid 30 pence for this. It's about, I think it's about a 40 or a £50 figure.
Yo, honestly, Baz, I'm gonna stop fucking talking to you, bro, because every time you post up these like amazing goddamn deals, and I just think this fucking guy, man, like just the luckiest dude. He just gets these amazing finds for literally like nothing, and all of us here are just like picking up the scraps on eBay, dude.
Literally, story of our lives. So I'm Chris. I mainly collect Power Ranger stuff. So I'm currently trying to collect all the Zords. I collect the odd occasional Morpher as well. I did recently just pick up this bad boy. I've been hunting for a Dragon Zord for about a year
About
and a
time
half.
you got
and
him.
Shut up.
Hold
you.
on, what? You've been hunting for a Dragon Zord?
Been hunting for it because every time I've gone to find one, it's just been ridiculously priced. And I saw the Legacy one on eBay for $100.
You should have told me. I am known in amongst hushed circles of the man who has more Dragon Sword. If you ask Daniel, ask Aaron, or ask who else should I ask? And ask Andy. Andy, yeah, basically the founders of Toy Division. You ask those three guys. I have more Dragon Zord than any decent human being should ever have. I could have hooked you. I would have just sent you one for free, man. If you told me, I would have hooked you up. I've got
It's
so
fine.
many. It's ridiculous.
I found that one on eBay. It cost me with postage and packaging 200 in total, and I just went for it because I needed one for my collection. But yeah, that's me.
Hold on. What Dragon Zord is it?
It's the legacy. The legacy one.
Oh, the legacy. Dude, I have 2 legacy ones. They're £40. What's wrong with you, man? Jesus Christ.
Evening,
You
Andy.
can see him
Cheapest one I
dying.
saw on
See him
eBay.
dying in his eyes.
Oh, dude, Chris, you should have told me, man. Next time, add me on
fine.
Facebook, message me. If you're ever looking for stuff like that, I would have just sent it to you for free. I would have literally donated it to the cause. And I've seen your collection; it's impeccable. I would have just donated it to the cause, bro. As well, 200. Oh my god, it's crazy. Sorry, I interrupted you. I'll shut up.
No, that's fine. But yeah, that's it. That's all I really collect. I don't really branch into anything else just yet. I don't want to go down too many rabbit holes. But yeah.
Okay.
Easy done, bro.
Do you want me to
Easily
shoot
done.
up in this corner?
Go
So
ahead.
Yeah.
yeah. I'm Jason. I live pretty much between Birmingham and Bristol, so you'll get a bit of a forest accent every so often. Mainly collecting. Well, I got a lot of Star Wars stuff, vintage and modern, or pretty much through Star Wars. Obviously, you got to draw a line somewhere because it's everything. And then a bit of Masters of the Universe is creeping in as well. So that's where we're at the moment. We don't want to go. Mask was the other option because we got a lot of fond memories of buying Mask as a kid, amongst other toys, but we've sort of stayed away from that rabbit hole at the moment as well. So that's me.
Yeah.
And I'm Billy, the traveling Power Rangers fan. I would be traveling if, there wasn't a pandemic in the world. Yeah. But I collect Power Rangers, obviously, based on the name. I collect Star Wars, Marvel. Lego has been like my thing lately. It's pretty crazy. My dog's going a little crazy, but it's because she's cute. But yeah, a little bit of everything I dabble in. That's how I roll, That's me.
Well, I'm Baz. I collect majority of everything as well.
Our esteemed host. The esteemed host, Baz.
Oh, aye. I collect anything from vintage stuff to modern stuff. I mean, if you've seen some of the posts that I've put on the Facebook group, man, you'll know exactly what I've got. And some of the treasures that I found at boot sales and charity shops. So the question I was going to ask is that what actually made you decide to collect what you collect? And
So for
Who
me,
do you want to answer first? Yeah.
I'll go first on this one. I've always been a big Power Rangers fan. Like I was born into when I was born, Mighty Morphin was on. So when I started watching, Zeo was on.
evening, Aaron.
So when I didn't start collecting until like a couple of years ago, I was at a local Comic Con, and there was a seller there who goes by the name of Empire Toys, who had the original Dino Megazord for 40 quid. And I was just like, do you know what? It's the original Dino Megazord. 40 quid, I'm going for it. And since then, that's just like been the tipping point for me. And I now have over like 13 Megazords. So, yeah.
Cool. Do you want me to go?
Go ahead, man.
Yeah. Most of the toys I grew up I was born in sort of late 70s. So I grew up with a lot of the toys. Then when I got to about 12, a lot of the toys went because obviously Nintendo was coming out and everything was video game based. So a lot of the toys went, and then I video game collected for years, which led into arcade machine collecting as well, which takes up a bit of space.
Even in Vic.
So, and then about a year or so ago, got rid of a lot of the video game collection. Always had Star Wars, vintage Star Wars figures in the background,
Even
and
in
then just really expanded on that. And then was getting a bit sort of fed up of what to. You could only get the vintage stuff online. It was getting to the point where it was so hard to get it. It was getting so expensive. So then sort of looked into modern stuff. So do a bit of modern sort of collecting of it. And then, as I said, Masters Universe, that's got some big memories from going to Asda as a kid and picking up figures every week and things like that. So when they brought those Origins out, saw them on the shelves, and I was like, this is the memories. So started getting back into that a bit.
Billy.
I've already forgotten the question because
What
that's
got-
how
what
little my
started
attention
your-
span is.
What got you
what
into
start-
collecting?
That's right. So what started my collection was back in 2016. I decided for Halloween I was going to be the Green Power Ranger. So I ordered that like muscle suit off Amazon, and then like I was at work and a buddy was like, "Bro, you can't be the Green Ranger without the without the dragon dagger." And I was like, "You're right." So I ordered the Legacy Dragon Dagger. And then I got it, and I was like, well, there's that rabbit hole. And then here I am, 4.5 years later.
Who can I blame? Who do I blame for this? I think that's more of the question. Really and truly, I mean, I had some toys. I think I was messing around with Gundam for a while, where I was like building a few Gundam and stuff like that. But my, like, let's say my Qui-Gon Jinn, my Yoda is Daniel. So I kind of like went around Daniel's house when we first met through a friend passing away, sadly, and it kind of like really good kinship. We got along really well, and then we had like a bro date, and we went to Reading, and we went to Reading. I don't know if I'd gone to his house first yet or not, and either way, but it's mostly because of him. He had a great Apocalypse Builder figure. And I was like, man, that's amazing. And I wanted one, and I bought one, and then I kind of haven't stopped. I have like intermittent breaks, but yeah. Also, Aaron and Andy, they didn't help when I got introduced to those guys.
I was going to mention Aaron, but I better know.
Yeah, they like, especially Aaron. He's just like my Dragon Zord crack dealer. So yeah, kind of just started building the collection from there, and the bigger it got, the less space I had, because not all of us can be like Billy and have a fucking loft where we could just throw everything in. So and then I had to rent storage. So I have a storage locker full of a bunch of stuff, like just piled boxes high.
Even vintage Toy Rush.
I've just collected. And it's everything from like Star Trek figures, box DS9 stuff, to RoboCop stuff, an obscene amount of Dragon Zords and Power Ranger stuff. And then I sort of keep my prize collections in-house, quite close by. But yeah, I mean, that's how I kind of got into it.
So, my brother's on the live stream. He says he wasn't going to come on, but he's come on. He's went and asked, is it, what's your best find?
Oh,
My I think mine's got to be the NECA Balrog. I mean, that goes for about, I mean, now market value anywhere from 3 to 5, maybe even 600, and I got that for £75 on something and it's huge. It's like, I implore you to go Google how big a NECA Balrog is. It's massive, and I like quite large toys, and it's got like a 75-inch wingspan. and it's just massive. So, or 75 centimeters, I can't remember, whatever. It's huge. I'm looking at it now. It's massive. I guess that's my best find.
My best find is like even Billy, Chavin Power Rangers fan, has commented me on this. It's not what you think, Billy, but it's the Ninjetti and the Falcon Megazord. They're probably my best finds because they're both the original 1995 versions, and they're both just in impeccable condition. The only thing that's wrong is the stickers are starting to peel off. But I've seen a lot of the Falcon Megazords is that there's a lot of discoloration where they start to go yellow, but this one has none of it. Yeah, they're probably my best finds.
That old 90s plastic though that they used in the Super Nintendo. It's probably the same stuff. That just like over the years just goes gold and yellow, and it looks like it's been sitting in a smoked household, but it really is just, you know, that old plastic that they had from China and Japan.
Yeah, but this one has none of that discoloration, so they're my best finds. Go on, Billy.
All right. My best find happened a couple weeks ago where it happened in a weird way where actually I was selling a Star Wars The Black Series figure on Facebook. And the guy looked at my Facebook profile and he was like, "Oh, I see you like Power Rangers." And I was like, "Just a little bit." Mm-hmm. Like, yeah. And he's like, "I've got a bin of Power Rangers stuff that I don't know what to do with. Would you be interested?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, send me a picture." So he sends me a picture, and it's a giant bin, and I can see on the top of it the 90s version of Serpentera, which is now up here. And I could also see the 2017 Megazord in the picture.
Throw that Megazord in the bin.
Right. Well, but I was like, yeah, man, I would buy it off you. I was like, how about I'll give you it was Mandalorian Quill, I think is how you say it. I'll give you that figure, and I'll give you €50 for the bin. And he was like, "Yeah, man, come over whenever you want to pick up the bin." And I was like, "Oh, yeah." So I went and picked it up, and it turned out to be like, most of it was stuff I really didn't want, but some of it was stuff I did want. But for a full Serpentera for basically €70, I was like, yes. So that's like my best find.
That's a good find, man.
Because typically most of my buying is either through a Facebook group or, you know, a direct website, Amazon, Hasbro. So to like actually go out and get something, especially during like a crazy pandemic situation, I was like, yep, that's probably my best find right now.
I had a super similar thing happen about 3 years ago, and it was a Power Rangers lockbox. This guy was selling it. He lived in Stevenage, and it was...
Why did you just throw that at me?
Sorry, dude. That's funny. You know what made me laugh is that you even like did the fake punch thing as if to like go away, and
I threw some at him. This is why there's a green screen, because you'll have kids constantly running, pulling faces at him.
Yeah, well, you know that's what happens when you reproduce, bro.
This is why I'm building a toy shed out in the garden.
You're lucky, man. But yeah, no, as I was saying, I had a very super similar thing. I was selling like a whole job lot for like £90, and everything in there,
evening shabby,
pristine and complete. Like it was an Ultra Zord, so it was the Dragon Zord, old 90s Dragon Zord, you know, vintage everything, but pristine, complete, like with the chain on the Titanus and everything. Like he had all the parts, and I was like, wow, this guy's a fucking moron, but okay, cool. And I drove to Heathrow Airport and met him in a car park, paid him the money and left.
My best find, and we made their start.
Yeah,
we'll be here for the rest of the stream, bro.
He got a figure less than 10p.
Finds is a best find.
Well, that's funny enough. I've actually probably one of the best finds I've actually got it to hand. So,
I don't know what you got.
I got this for £6 at a boot sale.
No way.
Oh, well,
£6.
£6.
6
All right, okay,
for
everyone
that.
go home.
That's
Everyone log
ridiculous.
off. All right, Baz won the internet.
Bye.
Let's pack it up. Let's all just pack it up now.
We ain't gonna beat that.
No.
Billy's
Um,
gone. Billy's just gonna leave it on the screen. Like, yeah, cool.
I'm putting it away.
You choose.
I think for me, I got my best find was a trade about a couple years ago. A guy at work wanted a Wii, a Nintendo Wii, and they were going for like £5 each Wii's, where they weren't silly money at all. So I had about 5 or 6 of them in the loft. So he said, "Oh, I go in the loft. He's got some old figures." So he brought them to work. He said, "I'll swap these for a Wii if you've got one." So I took in this Wii with Wii Sports, or cost, I don't know, it's pennies. Gives me a box, got a load of vintage Star Wars figures in there, and there must have been about 5 or 6 from the last 17. So there was no way I was going to pass that up. So I gave him a bit of cash for him as well, because he was a guy I worked with, and I didn't want to rip him off that much with it, or because there was, he said they were a few old Star Wars. There might be some Mask or Action Force in there.
Evening, Josh.
And then when Obi-Wan Kenobi comes out with a lightsaber, then I start going, hang on a minute, this is more than what I thought it was going to be. And then when sort of some of the last 17 start sort of floating around in the box with their weapons, then the swap was done pretty quickly. But as I said, I gave him a bit of extra cash as well, because I wouldn't rip him off that blindly. But that was probably my best sort of find in terms of figures. But obviously, there's a few sort of personal figures that you have when you're a kid that you always want to get back. So regardless of the value of like for instance, I've got a Prince Adam Masters of the Universe figure. Not really that special to most people, but I can remember standing in the shop and having him and another figure in my hand, deciding which one I wanted to buy when I was a kid. So those have probably got more memories, less value, sort of thing.
That's what's important, though, isn't it? Like, most of it is like, okay, we like to collect good pieces, but if, you know, I've bought stuff that wasn't necessarily expensive, but completely tickled the cockles of my heart, where I was like, oh, this reminds me of something when I was younger, and I just must have it. So, you know, and that piece probably means more to you than, you know, than something else you pick up. So Stuart Duncan says, who's got wrestlers? I don't really collect wrestlers. I know Daniel does, but I have like some of the standard like WWF stuff, you know, like you know, the old vintage Hulk Hogan, you know, when he slams his fist together. Everyone's seen that one. I've got that and a few variations of that. Although there is a shop in Portsmouth. I cannot for the life of me remember what the shop's called now, but it's a toy shop in Portsmouth, and it's like a few shops down from where I get my back tattoo done. And there's a guy, and the guy in there, he has I would say it's about maybe 17. Nah, I would say probably about 12 inches, 12 to 14 inches. And it's Hulk Hogan, but it's got real hair. And like, not real hair, but you know what I mean? Like, it's got the Barbie style hair, right? And
Doll hair.
Like, I've never seen one that big, and I have like a bit of a thing for large toys. I like large detailed toys, vintage or not, you know, I'll buy it. Hence why the Balrog is my favorite. And he had that, and he wouldn't sell it. I was like, how much would you sell that for? And he's like, no, it's just display. And it kind of pissed me off, because I was like, why have you got so much stuff in your store that I cannot buy? You've just got it on display. What the fuck is the point? Like, don't do that. That's a message to all sellers out there, by the way, just FYI. Do not have something on display that you're like, oh, I'm not going to sell that. And I'm like,
Just to reel you in.
That's
reel you in.
I apologize for using that word, but it's stupid. Don't do it. So, yeah, that's if anybody can tell me, because I didn't ask questions at the time. I should have really asked who made it, who was it by. Does anybody know what that's called, so I know what to look for? Anyone in the chat? It's like a large, probably about 12 to 14 inches Hulk Hogan, and he has like real feel hair.
Is this recently?
Ask about that would probably
it's an old one. It's an old
like,
old WWF. Like, it must be from the 80s, early 90s.
There's somebody making the old ones but doubling them up, aren't they? They're called like 2-ups or something like that, where they're making the old ones and doubling the size. Someone's casting them.
No, I mean, I didn't know that, but it's definitely not that. It's like an actual,
Okay.
like, it's got I think it's even got like a pulley on the back where you can pull it's a pull string. It's got a pull string on the back of it as well. If I remember, I think that's just popped into my head. If I can remember correctly, it's got a pull string on the back of it. So if anybody knows what that's called, please let me know, because I'm hunting for it, because I really want it. But yeah, WWE stuff or F stuff has never really been my thing. Anybody else here on that?
I had a mate.
I couldn't really tell you half their names because I forgot. I mean, I've got like the Hulk Hogan and the Undertaker. Hulk Hogan, Undertaker. I don't think I want the Legion of Doom, but I've not got the ones yet. But I'm looking for them. I should have. I didn't even think about bringing a couple of them out, just thinking. But they're away in storage with the new. So
I'm gonna start. I feel bad because I feel like we've ignored like a lot. Maybe there were some questions on here, so I'm just gonna start going through, just while we're chatting and see who's anybody's asked any questions. Billy, you have something we all want: space to put our collection. That's from Blue Harvest Vintage.
I'm just lucky, and my wife let me turn the guest bedroom into a nerd room. You know, I just got lucky one of these days, you know?
Mark Rankine says, how often do you guys do these streams? This is Baz's stream. So, like, you know, fucking, I'll give, like, raise my can of Pepsi to Baz. This is Baz's first, like, live stream, right, Baz?
yeah, it is.
Yeah, so
After a little conversation we had a few weeks ago, I decided to do it.
that's right. Yeah. So we were on a chat. We did like it was like me, you, Chris. Who else? Was it just us three? Or was there anybody else?
Yeah, it's just us three.
Just us three, yeah. So it's just us three, and we were just shooting the shit. And I think Chris left, and it was me and you afterwards. And I was like, man, just do it. Just put it out. Even if you don't have an intro, even if it's not super professional, like, just put it out. People in the community are really great. Like, and they are. Like, I don't think I've come across.
Sorry, Brad. Good evening.
I don't think I've come across anybody toxic. And I'm sure they do exist, but I've not come across anybody toxic in this community. Everyone's pretty supportive and, like, always happy to, like, give you information and stuff. So even if your stuff wasn't, like, professional, as you say it, like, I think even if you put it out there, like, one person watches, 2 people watch, it doesn't matter. Just put the content out. And, like, as long as you're consistent and you have cool people like you do here, like, you know, everyone's gonna watch it. So but yeah, how often do we do it? I don't know. Speak to Baz. If this goes well, I'm sure that you'll do more, Baz, and you'll get other people on, and it'll be as successful as you want it to be.
So I am David's asking where about the car boots are going to. So we have 3 roughly in my area. So I have one, it's basically like a 10-minute walk where I stay. So that one's in Town Beef, but that's on a Thursday. There's one on a Saturday that is called Mishmash. That's now, it used to be a car boot sale, but now that's kind of turned into maybe a trader boot sale than a boot sale. Another one I go to when I'm off on a Sunday, when I'm not working, is probably the one in Inverkeven. That's usually where you find some of the good stuff.
Star Toys was the company that made the Hulk Hogan 14-inch with real hair. Thank you, David. Jeez, I'm gonna have to Google that shit. Well,
now you're about to go down a deep hole.
Yes.
To find this thing.
saying that, Leo.
He knows what's up.
Saying that,
Sorry?
I just found one on eBay. Hulk Hogan 15-inch, and it has like the Barbie doll hair, £75 plus $5.99 postage.
He's scary though. He looks very scary.
Yeah, I know, right? It looks like a. Hold on, I think I've seen that one, right? I think that's the one that's just like it's just him and his pants, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have seen that one before.
I think that's actually what he's going to look like after he does his challenge of eating those spicy foods. I think that's got the same face.
I'm gonna be gone. That's not even gonna be me. I'm just gonna be gone.
Hulk Hogan figures, man. Like for me, I don't know. I was always a Hulkamaniac, so even during the scandal, I was like, it doesn't matter. Hulk Hogan always told me to eat, say my prayers. I'm all good. Like he said his prayers and he won, and he pretty much bankrupted that company, no, in court. But yeah, I've always loved a bit of Hulk Hogan, man. Hit the one like hit the like button like it owes you money, right? Okay.
I don't know how good that'll be up. Somebody just said me.
I'm coming if they have an Altman for 30p. Do any of you watch the wrestling? Do you know what? I don't watch the wrestling specifically because, and I don't know anybody else either.
Thanks, Aaron.
Do. I don't watch wrestling because it's purely there's no crowd right now, and it's really boring. And I also have to sit through adverts, which I don't want to do.
I was watching UFC
Sport app to my TV.
There's a UFC on tonight as well, and it just feels so odd. It just feels odd just seeing they look like they're just in a training ring.
Just sort of off the subject of toys, right? I mean, I don't know anybody who does. I mean, I love watching UFC, MMA, and stuff. So your man Dana White says he cannot wait to do a show in Texas because Texas has dropped all COVID restrictions,
right?
Completely. So he's like, I want to do a sold out show in Texas, which obviously that's just money to them, right? And I reckon like people are itching to go to an event. I mean, we're all still here. I'm jonesing just to go to a toy fair. Just so I
just want to go to Smith's Toy Shop or the Entertainer. That's bad enough.
Yeah, right.
Let alone an event.
Just have a bit of a walk around and just smell the plastic. Just sit there in the toy aisle in Asda, just sniffing Barbie dolls. Just
you'll be in there like 5 hours.
Yeah,
5 hours just sat in the same aisle.
But yeah, so I definitely, I think that would be great. I mean, who's your money on tonight, Chris?
I don't watch wrestling.
No, UFC, bro.
Don't even watch that.
You're the one who mentioned UFC. Was it
me,
not you?
Jason? Yeah.
The guy above me.
Right. Oh, sorry, dude. I thought it was Chris that did it.
No, I don't know really. I I'm not really got that big of interest in either of them fighting. So I just enjoy watching it. I watched it right from the start. So right from episode like UFC 1 and all the sort of Ultimate Fighters.
How old are you? If you don't mind me asking.
42.
Oh shit! Damn, you literally.
I'm old. That's why vintage is like I was there. I was buying Action Men in the box. But
how weird was it? The Action Men that had the fuzzy hair. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Felt hair.
I remember.
You guys get so you're from the States, right? Originally.
I don't know where mine came from. I had them. I think they were like because I come from my nan, so we grew up with my nan. So she had them. So they must have been like my dad's or my uncle's.
Billy's from the States, right? Billy? Oh, he's gone. He's out.
Oh, no, yeah. I'm from America. I just live in Germany right now. I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay, PA. All right.
Yeah.
So it is PA, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So did you guys get Action Men over there, or?
Honestly, I can't.
You had like G.I. Joes, right?
Oh yeah, I can remember seeing G.I. Joe in the store for sure.
But
Action Man.
You didn't get like the Action Man series because we kind of like ripped off Barbie with Cindy, right? I don't know who did Cindy.
Yeah.
Here, but
we
had
did.
Cindy. You guys had Barbie. Barbie still flourished. Cindy flopped, and then we had Action Man, and I guess you guys had G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
I think the only Action Man I ever had, and I got it for Christmas, was the parachute Action Man with the blue camo. I remember that vividly, being like, "Wow, where are you parachuting to, son? Everyone's gonna see you with that blue camo." But yeah, that was the only Action Man I ever had. But I've been to America a few times, and you guys have an amazing like toy scene.
We do. It's
honestly
crazy. I haven't. So I left America in 2013 to move to Germany, and then I got into the toy game, and I was like, man, I should probably go back to America, and then I just keep living in Germany instead. So.
Well, Vintage Toy Rush is asking, do you all have your own YouTube channel?
I have a YouTube channel, but it's kind of dead. Nobody really goes to it because I used to do a podcast on iTunes and stuff, and I am gonna do it again, but I just couldn't be fucked. Yeah, to say it. It's kind of one of those things, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. It's not something I would pimp out, to be honest. Like, I'm sure there are better channels that you can go to listen to. Anyone else?
Yeah, I got a channel where I've been doing some just going out to shops, filming what toys are in. Because there's nothing else.
Where are you going?
Only to sort of supermarkets, those sort of places, Home Bargains, B&M, because we got quite a few around us. So it's just seeing what's coming out, something new, just to kill the boredom mainly. Sort of, so when you go to do the weekly shop, just go and hit them and just see what new stuff's coming out. You know, because there's not a lot, but it seems to be that they are stocking slowly. But
bless me.
But that's all that's on there at the moment is just to kill the boredom, really.
Yeah, I mean, what's the lockdown like with you, Billy? What's lockdown like there?
So, well, lockdown is about to change on Monday in Germany, based on where we live. But well, before I go into the lockdown stuff, I do at least 2 to 3 videos a week over on Charlie Power Rangers fan on YouTube. Content on every platform essentially. But yeah, lockdown has made it so I want to do toy hunts, but I can't. So I just have to kind of do stuff here. But Germany is actually half opening on Monday, depending on where you live and like the number of COVID cases. Which will make it so that like toy stores are reopening and all that kind of good stuff. I'm super thrilled. My wallet is not thrilled, but I am thrilled.
Yeah, I don't think any of our wallets are thrilled ever.
Right? I'm scared for the first Comic Con I go to.
Wallet is thrilled is fucking Baz, because my guy fucking gets all these amazing deals for zero money. Like, I genuinely think he's just out robbing people.
I have a mad wallet. You know, a couple of rubs and then I get the bargains.
You're too good, man. You're too good.
No, I don't have a YouTube channel. It's not something that I don't want to delve into YouTube, mainly because I have no patience for editing. But I do have a Twitch. It's twitch.tv/the Peaky Arrow. But yeah, that's the only content creating I do.
Go follow him on Twitch.
There might be fun on there tomorrow.
What are you playing on Twitch at the moment?
So
trying to kill yourself.
I've just finished the Jedi Fallen Order story. I've now gone on to the GTA story, GTA 5. Tomorrow's a totally separate.
Evening Smuggler Canyon.
Evening Smuggler.
Evening Smuggler. Tomorrow's a totally different celebration stream. It's got nothing to do with like the GTA stuff. But I mainly play campaigns and story games. I leave the multiplayer games alone for me to play with my friends when I'm not streaming, because then I still have something to do when I'm not on stream, and then I have something to do when I'm on stream. So I just leave them totally separate. But yeah, I think the next game I'm going to delve into on stream after.
I need to sub to your stuff. You need to at the end of this chat, if you give it to Baz so he can put a link to it.
Yeah,
in the comments, and then I'll sub to it. Because I try to like support my friends on Twitch, even though I'm not a big Twitch streamer at all. So.
But the next game I'm going to delve into, I'm going to try and stream Ghost of Tsushima on PlayStation.
Great game, that is. Great game.
I've completed it 5 times.
Yeah, great game.
I went through it the whole time, got everything, and then the game hit the download. And then they put all the Legends bits in, and you had to go through the whole game again to get a few more platinum trophies. I was like, oh. But it's one of those games that you enjoy playing. It sort of just gets to that point where you just enjoy.
It really is. It's an amazing game. So I wanna stream that next.
Stuart says AEW is better than WWE. So Stuart, just jump in on the comments here. I haven't Googled it because I'll be honest with you, I didn't care enough to Google it at the time, but I'm just actually curious that you've mentioned it. Has the Big Show moved over to AEW?
Yeah, he has.
Has he? Or has he? Right, you can confirm.
He has.
Oh, damn, son. Yeah, I mean WWE, man, they're like dropping. They recorded record numbers in profits, yet sacked so many people during lockdown. Like, I just thought that was actually crazy for them to do that. Josh Anderson says we had a GI Joe 12-inch. Nice.
I was assuming. But was GI Joe? Was Action Man not a rip off of a GI Joe?
Probably, yeah, it may. But GI Joe were normally small, right? Billy, jump in on this. I'm pretty sure GI Joes were like the 3-inch figures or the 3 to 4-inch figures, right?
I think it was 3.75 scale.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
small, right? Like numerous points of articulation, but very small figures.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then I think America went. Sorry, Action Man went with the bigger dolls. Brits invented flock hair and gripping hands. US invented eagle eyes, I think. Oh, okay.
So the next few questions is actually a bit different, like toy lines. So Mark's asking, what about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Bro, the NECA line, the ones they brought out for the movie, those one, I think, are they 1/4 scale? Is that 1/4? Not the smaller ones they did, but the 1/4 or 1/6 scale. Those are amazing. Like, there is a channel that I've seen somebody build a diorama for those, for the full the NECA Ninja Turtle ones. Those are sick. I mean, like when it comes to like the older stuff, I sort of buy like damaged figures and I give them to my kid, but I never really collected that often. There's so much to collect. That's the problem. Like,
You can't collect it all.
If we're gonna do this, right? If you jump into collecting, like, where do you start? Where do you start collecting with Ninja Turtles, really and truly? Like, unless you're going after prize pieces, there's such a plethora of Ninja Turtles that it's just like you'll end up spending the majority of your time like more finding it than buying it. Because if you want a decent piece that's complete, you're looking at spending a lot of money. So for me, like, I love the movie, and I'm sure everyone else here feels the same way. I love the first movie, so when I saw those figures, I was in. I was like, right, get the large figures, get 2 of each, one boxed, one unboxed, because why not? I'm an adult and I have money, so and put them on display, man, and like maybe even build a diorama for it and have it on display when I've got the space, But I don't. Never really got into the Ninja Turtle stuff. VR Troopers, though, when Duncan said it, I own a few small VR Troopers, but there's one big one that I bought that I paid £10 or £15 for. I bought it at Reading, and it's whoever the lead guy in VR Troopers is, the blue and red guy, and he's like in one.
Oh, Ryan Steele. I'm sure
Ryan-
it's Ryan
Ryan
Steele.
Steele.
I'm sure that's what his name is.
Typical teenage hero name. Kim, yeah. So he's like in a stance, like a sort of like doing a sideways lunge stance, and it's a huge toy again because I have a thing for those. Freud would have a field day with me, boys. So yeah, he's got one of those, and I'll jump back to Ninja Turtles. Anybody else can collect Ninja Turtles?
I had
No.
a few, but due to I was a bit older when they come out, and my brother was into Turtles quite a bit before. And on my video, on one of my videos, you'll see that I film by one of H&M or Home Bargains now. We've still got our old Toys R Us,
Okay.
and that's next to where the cinema used to be. So I can remember going and watching Turtles 3 movie, where they go back in time.
You were forced to do that.
I didn't mind it, to be honest. It got a bit of feudal Japan in. But then I come out the cinema, we go straight into Toys R Us and then buy the figures from the film we just watched.
Yeah.
So I got memories of Turtles that way from knowing them with my little brother, and then going to shop straight after they've going to the cinema. I think that was Toys R Us plan, really. Get it all in there, so as soon as you hit the cinema, come out, you could buy the action figures of the toys.
That's smart, Mark. That's the same as putting the chocolate bar at the checkout.
Yeah, it worked. It worked all the time. I was just buying any film I'd go and watch. I'd go into Toys R Us afterwards and be like, I need to get a figure from this film. I don't care what it is. We just need a figure to go with the film. Now we've seen it.
That was probably the best comparison I've ever heard. As
What?
that's like putting the chocolate bar at the fucking register.
It's true, bro.
That's the best I've ever heard.
They know. They're like, oh yeah, those fucking kids. They're gonna come out swinging fake nunchucks. Like, oh, he's gone.
Yeah.
Where'd he go? But yeah, they're gonna come out swinging fake nunchucks at each other like made up bullshit, and then they're gonna want to go buy some toys. So we've lost Billy. I'm sure he'll be back. Biker Mice from Mars. I had it for a long time, and then my mum threw it away, so I had to rebuy it. Again, who's the dude with the metal arm? Which one's the mouse with the metal arm?
Modo.
Right, that guy.
And he was the guy with the metal plate on his face, and then Throttle was the guy with the shades.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the one with the metal arm, I remember buying him in a store in Colombia when I was walking past, and the guy wouldn't sell it. I had to convince my grandmother to buy me the display model that they had, and I was like, that's the one I want. He's back.
Clicked all kind of wrong.
Yeah, Biker Mice. Never really got into it. I wish I did, because it's kind of in the same vein as like Street Sharks around that same time, where they were using animals to pimp out toys, which was like, just says a lot about, how we would just use every part of an animal for everything.
So your question for the big show, Stuart's go back to you. Yeah, he has moved to.
Yeah. That's crazy. He's always like, I've always known him as either WWE or WCW, where he was the giant in WCW. It was the UK version. What's he referencing when it says?
I must have been the GI. We've been talking about the GI Joe.
Oh, right. Okay. Fair enough. So yeah, did you guys get anybody else here collect Biker Mice from Mars?
No. I remember watching it.
Pull them up, like, but I'd rather get the original ones. The 90s ones I'm not too no big fan of the reboot ones. Like,
does anybody remember watching a show on Cartoon Network called SWAT Cats?
Yeah.
No. Oh, dude, man, that show was amazing. I used to love watching that show, SWAT Cats. They made a video game. I've never actually looked into it, and it's sort of more of an audience interaction now. If anybody knows if they ever did any toys, hit me up. Let me know. Write in the comments. I'm sure Baz will
there is toys.
Are there?
Andy.
I never actually looked.
Andy's Toys and Models has got a couple, but I think he got them for America though.
Wasn't the game America? It wasn't out on like the Super Nintendo, but only like a US cart. I think it was. I don't think it came out PAL over here.
Well, if you sail the high seas like I do, my friend.
Oh, I've just Googled SWAT Cats, and yes, I do remember watching that. Now I've seen what they look like. Yes, I remember watching it.
Yeah, it was a good show. That was man. If you look at the stuff, I think we talked about this last time, Baz, when we were talking about like just the quality of toys, and the reason I prefer to collect older stuff is that like just the newest stuff just isn't built to the same standard. I mean, like even NECA stuff, like NECA, I can't remember, there was like an acronym, or somebody would say like, something about like mid 2000s NECA toys would always just break, like, and there was like a whole lawsuit about it as well, where they went to the trading standards because NECA toys would just snap all the time, because they were just of poor quality. If you go a little bit further back, like, toys were just made to last better, and just a lot of the newest stuff that's come out, like it's not there. It just feels hollow. Like
it's not made for the durability. You think when toys came out back in the 90s, that was the sort of collection. When you first got your first Turtles, you knew you were going to collect that. That cartoon was being pumped out on the telly all the time. You knew for 12 months that Leonardo was going to be played with or whatever. Whereas toys now, I know with my kids, I buy them a toy and I'm like, yeah, we got something they can collect. Go back to Smith's next week. There's nothing on the shelf for it no more. It's like, well, they've got one. And then I'll go on eBay to go, oh, would you like a couple more? And they're like £40, £50 because somewhere else got the other ones. And you can no longer buy them. So I think they're just built now, just made for just one-offs and just made for sort of having for a couple of months, if that. So they're not really got that.
Toy someone, I don't know who it was. Josh, may have been Joshua. No, Julian. Who's Julian? No money. There's Julian Luck, Link.
I know what you're talking about.
He posted a picture in the Toy Division group today, which was he had like this shark.
Julian Luck, Link.
I know what you're talking about.
Did I just echo there? By the way,
There was feedback from somewhere.
oh sorry. Yeah, he posted a picture of like some blue shark, some boxed blue shark. Did anybody see that?
Aye, that's for the new. It's I'm sure it's McFarlane that's made them.
Yeah, that's right. And I saw that, and I immediately jumped to like the cheap shark toys you can buy in Smiths, and I'm like, they legitimately just took that exact toy, and then just painted it blue, added a few little bits of plastic to it, like just glued them on, and went like, £40, please, like. And I just think like, man, the audacity of some of these toy companies that are selling stuff that are just absolute dog shit. Like some of these toys are just the quality is not there, the sculpts aren't great, or they're just reused sculpts again, which is why I prefer to go for the bigger stuff. Like McFarlane, I will give. That they don't reuse a lot of their sculpts for a lot of their. I guess that's why they cost so much, because they don't reuse the sculpt for another model. Does that make sense? Like if they got one line, like this is the line we're going to use, and most of the time they're already posed. They're not really meant to be played with. I mean, I'm a grown up, I will 100% play with my toys, but they're not meant to be played with. They're more to be displayed.
So I've got a question for Billy. What is your favourite SPD Ranger?
Oof. Favorite SPD Ranger? I'm going to go Doggy Cougar, man. I like him. Except for that whole, like, how does his nose work in that helmet thing? But, you know, that's a whole other tangent, you know?
I would agree, because he's probably my favourite one, because I got the Lightning Collection version of him.
Same. I love him. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
And I've got a question for Leo as well. Have you picked up that Dark Side yet?
No, because it's very expensive. I know which one. Yeah, that's the one that you posted a picture of, and I was like, "What?" Again, back to my thing about large toys. I saw that. It's the first thing I saw when you posted that picture, and I was like, "Oh, I really want that. What is that?" I thought it was an Apocalypse at first, because it had sort of like the same mouth shape, and then obviously it wasn't. And then I looked, and I was like, "Yeah, that toy's a bit pricey."
That's when you actually posted, and you asked like, "What's it wearing?" and try to find the line. I couldn't remember what line it was for, so I ended up having to Google it, and then I was like looking at the price. It's like, oh,
yeah,
even for loose, it's expensive.
But then
Even
I have spent £200 on smaller toys, like my King Sharks. Each one was about 150 or 210. The Pit I paid almost 300 for. So yeah, it's not a thing that I wouldn't be averse to paying for it, but I think I'd have to take a bit more of a closer look at the model, like the actual figure itself, and maybe watch a few reviews on it.
If this live goes good tonight and I get a good lot of feedback, then I will probably show you that the next time. But when I was Googling that to try and find, because I couldn't remember if it was a DC Icon or if it was DC Direct that done it. Even for his daughter, when he comes in a 2-pack with his daughter, and his daughter's
That's
about
right, yeah.
and that's complete. Fortunately, I've got the daughter, but I don't have her axe or her other set of hands. And if it's a complete one, you're talking about 80 quid. I'm sure somebody was selling just the figure, and I'm sure that was like £65. And I was like, whoa, that is crazy, man. Well, much that's went up.
Yeah, it's all on. I think I'll always run back to what Dan said to me once, which was like, if it's meant to be, it will come. Like, don't worry about like whether or not you can get it now. It will come up again. Like, it's not like this toys. It's not like it's fucking Boba Fett with the rocket on his back, vintage figure, right? It's gonna pop up again along the lines, and you will get it again. So don't worry about it. If you pay more or less, it doesn't matter. If you don't get it right now, it's not the end of the world. Like, these toys will come back, and they will be in some sort of circulation. And like, to be fair, that has rung true like many times for me, where I've gone, I'm gonna buy this, and then I thought, it's a little bit too much, and then all of a sudden, maybe a week, 2 weeks later, I just randomly go and check, and lo and behold, it's there for a much cheaper price. And I always go back to that conversation. I'm like, yeah, that dude was totally right.
So David's World of Toys is asking a question for all. For collecting toys is about the hunt or going to car boot sales / toy fairs. I would say going to toy fairs. I mean, Scotland doesn't have many toy fairs, but toy fairs is a good place to go hunting. Car boot sales can be a good place as well, depending on the weather. If you've got good weather, man, hopefully you'll get the ones where they've just cleaned out their attic, and hopefully you'll pick up some good stuff. But for me, going to toy shops, hopefully when they reopen up here, I'll probably going to try and get some new stuff like.
I've not been to a toy fair, but from when I've been to car boot sales, like the amount of stuff that I've seen stuff there that I'm not into collecting, and I personally wouldn't collect. But the stuff I've seen there, and I've like now I'm a collector. I've been like, if I was collecting that, I would snatch that up straight away, because like some people at boot sales,
you're welcome,
know exactly what stuff is worth, so they will try and charge you what it's worth or a bit more, so they can make a bit of a profit from that. Or you've got some idiot there who doesn't know what something's worth and she will charge you twice the amount. But yeah, like I've picked up a few things from toy fairs, from boot sales. I've got a few South Park stuff from boot sales that I wouldn't find anywhere else, and I'm just like, it's a couple of quid, why not? It's it's something that I used to watch. I'm just gonna throw it on a shelf somewhere. But yeah.
Anybody else?
I'd say there's twofold to it, really, isn't there? Because part of the reason you're there mainly is hunting for yourself. So there's a bit of a thrill finding something you're wanting, what you collecting, and then the sort of toy fair aspect to it. Nice, the social aspect of that, because you're in a room full of a lot of people who enjoy the same sort of thing that you enjoy. Do you know when you go to the car
to bathe more?
Yes, I think that happens in any sort of events, though. But all those people in that room share a common interest. Whereas when you're going to the car boot sale, you're kind of just looking for yourself or for a few friends, or keeping an eye out that way. But so you've got your own. You enjoy the hunt, I would say, for yourself, because it's what you're doing for your own thing. But going to a toy show, you're seeing some toys that you probably even forgot about having as a kid. And also then you've got that social aspect of there's people there that enjoy. You can chat to these people. They enjoy the same things as you have. They've watched it on YouTube, or they watched it when it first came out. So it's sort of both of it, really. It's just the sort of different things we put ourselves through just to see how we feel.
Billy? You forgot the question.
I've got a question.
No, you forgot the question.
No. So for me, honestly, in Germany, I've never seen like a car boot, as you guys call it in England. In America, we would call it like a flea market. I've never seen that actual type of an event here. So for me, it's like, I would say 99.99% of my collecting comes off of like the internet. So like I'm an odd collector in the sense that like literally every one of my purchases is a PayPal purchase, It's like I've been lucky enough to find a few things in the wild, but like other than that, like I internet shop for everything like a standard millennial,
Mark's asking.
That's not bad though. That's that's kind of what we're all doing now anyway. So it's not really the
Yeah.
it's not the worst thing. Bro, by the way, Billy, are those the MX3000s?
These?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
they are.
good lad. I got the same pair.
I love them.
Great pair. Best headphones on the market.
So
Sure.
Billy, if you get most of your stuff off the net, do you like when I go out and find the toys that I'm sort of remembering from childhood? There's nostalgia, and when you see that toy and you pick it up, you got that nostalgia. When I've ordered, for me personally, I see it online, remember that nostalgia, buy it, and then when it comes through the post, because it's been a few days, I just go, oh, there's that toy again, and pull it in a drawer or a box. Do you get that same sort of thing, or do you live that enthusiasm again?
I get crazy excited, and I'm like, oh my god, like, because I get an email when like when my packages are here, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this package is here. I have a spreadsheet, you know, where I track all my purchases, and I'm like, oh my god, it's here. And I go pick it up, and it's like I'm in the parking lot of the post office, like opening it. I'm like holy crap, I got this thing I want, you know.
It's cool because
I'm super excited.
I find over obviously last year where we haven't been able to go to shows, you find it online, you see it online, and then by the time it comes, for me personally, all the love and joy is sort of dying out of it by then, because I've bought something else and something else is on its way to me, and I've seen something else or Googled something else or been on Facebook and seen something else. So when it comes, kind of it's not buyer's remorse, but you've kind of gone, oh, I've had my enjoyment with seeing that picture, and now I own it. So okay, great, let's put it in the cupboard.
The hunt is different to like being out on the prowl. Does that make sense? Like, doing your online hunting is one thing. I guess it's more of a like the problem with the internet, especially with eBay, is that your online hunting is can be done at any point. Like it's literally at your fingertips. So if you think about something in that 1 second, like, oh, I want to see if there's any Robocop toys or Starship Troopers or whatever, right? You just go online, boom, boom, boom. Your answer is immediate. So it's like instant gratification. Whereas like you go to a toy fair, remove the ability to be able to just buy it, like, you know, as Billy does, and have the choice, have like the actual like going around, going for the hunt, making the decision, doing some haggling, speaking to people, like getting in down and dirty with it.
Tuscan.
Sorry?
Sorry, I'm just going through some of your comments, man.
You cut off like halfway. I was like, oh, what did he say? But yeah, so I guess it's kind of like you are right. It's like two pronged, really. It's like on one side you get your instant gratification, but on the other side it's like I enjoy hunting for this stuff, and like I would not have met Andy or Aaron if I had not gone to a toy fair. I would have had like a great relationship with Daniel, who I haven't spoken to Dan face to face for a few months now, but like I regard him as one like the most genuinely like really fucking good people that I would class in my life. And he is like, I would never have met him and grown a relationship with him as a friend if I hadn't gone to a toy fair. So like just going to those events has meant a lot more to me, and like learning how to hunt for shit, like learning to know what to look for by just proxy of being there. Does that make sense? Like I think that it's not just going to a toy fair and just like picking up a few bits. It's like everything involved with it that comes.
You're making a memory for the new toys.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
You're trying to relive the memory from your old toys.
That toy that you had a memory of, as opposed to just getting that instant gratification of buying it and being like, oh yeah, well I had this Captain Planet toy when I was a child, and now I own it now, and oh yeah, the moment's over. Like, cool. Obviously, not all of us are like that. Billy obviously likes to enjoy and open up his packages right outside the fucking place, you know, like a caveman, instead of, you know, going home and throwing it in a bin like everyone else.
No, does anybody like Rick and Morty? Stuart's asking.
Yeah, I don't collect Rick and Morty stuff, but I love Rick and Morty. Who doesn't? I don't think I could ever talk to you if you don't like Rick and Morty.
So I did used to collect the Rick and Morty pop figures. And then I sold my entire pop figure collection, apart from a fair few that I wanted to keep. Other than that, no, I'm not into the Rick and Morty figures. I just like the show.
X-Men, I am. By the way, Mark, I'm super
Animated
into
X-Men.
Toy Biz stuff. Yeah, so
Animated every
I
time.
went through a phase where I was buying a lot of the and I still have them. A lot of the 12-inch, I think they're 12 inches, the large X-Men figures. When I was a child, the only reason it didn't happen is because my mum, being foreign, hit me really hard across the head when I brought up. I almost did it. I always had this fascination with Wolverine as a child, and I almost traded my bicycle for one of those large Wolverine figures. With a
That's worth more than your bike now. It's worth more than your bike now.
Probably. But I almost traded my bike over as like a fair. He thought it was a fair trade. I thought it was a fair trade. My mum.
Mum's not having it. Mum's not having it.
So obviously that didn't happen. Yeah, I really love that X-Men figure. I've got a bunch of them, and I've got a lot of the older stuff, a lot of the smaller figures as well.
I've still got a couple of mines like for I was young, like.
Sorry.
So I've still got a couple of my X-Men figures for when I was. I've still got my Iceman, and I've still got my Cyclops.
Yeah, I mean, Toy Biz really smashed it out of the park. With the Spider-Man and the X-Men, a lot of the Marvel stuff that they picked up. I was a huge fan of that stuff, especially the Toy Biz stuff, and I've got tons of it. So yeah, I think my favorite one that I actually don't own is an Iceman figure, which because every time I've looked for one, they're always really badly discolored, and if they're not, they could cost quite a lot of money. So like for what they are, and I just can't be bothered to pull the trigger on it. But yeah, Wolverine stuff, the whole collection. I even went back and bought the entire range of the Burger King toys that they brought out during the 90s, during the like 94, 95. So I got all the Burger King toys that came in those like the kids' meals, and it was Storm, Wolverine, Gambit, and I think one more. I can't remember who it was, but I think it may have been Jubilee. I can't remember, but I bought all of those recently as well.
I've actually got a question for everybody here. What is the weirdest toy or the weirdest figure that you've found at a toy fair, boot sale, charity shop, or just normal retail? What's the one that you think is the most strangest looking?
I wouldn't say strangest looking. I think two immediately spring to mind for me. One of them was an AC Slater toy from Saved by the Bell.
That's a thing?
Yeah, it's a doll.
What?
I bought it for. So me and Daniel were walking through. We were walking through. If he's watching, he'll be screaming Sandown, right? We were walking through Sandown doing our first round as we got there, and when we got there, he saw this like AC Slater thing. It was like £30, and it was like a Barbie doll, but it's AC Slater, and boxed, complete, and everything. And he didn't bite the bullet on it, but I could see that he wanted it, so I bought it for him in the sly and then gave it to him as a gift. And I was like, here, like, you obviously didn't want to bite the bullet on it because it wasn't completely his thing. But I just wanted to do something nice for him, so I did. But I thought that was pretty strange. Like, I had such a weird out there toy. And I think the other one was one I bought, which is the only Barbie doll I own, which was a Star Trek Barbie doll. So it was Barbie in a Star Trek outfit. With Ken, yes, and it had Ken as well, so it was like a Barbie and Ken combo, and both of them in Star Trek outfits. And I'm a big Star Trek fan, so I didn't know that was a thing either. So yeah, those are my two.
So my one is this guy. To this day, I still don't know what toilet it's from, but it's like one of these stretchy.
Right. Okay. That seems super breakable. I would have broken that extremely fast as a child.
Just trying to get it.
What is it? Who is it?
No.
Nothing
Oh.
stamped on the feet or anything, no?
Yeah, is there nothing stamped anywhere?
All it's got on the bottom of it is Toy Quest 2001.
Toy Quest 2001. Someone find it. Someone do a flesh hunt for it on the internet.
So
See if anybody can
the-
track it down.
The weirdest thing that I found in a charity shop is I didn't even realize they did these, but when the Justice League film came out a couple of years ago, Android did figures,
What?
and it's the Android like bot, but dressed up in like the outfits, and I have all of them. I got all of them for a tenner, and I just like I had
Hold on,
no
tenner
idea.
each or tenner for the lot?
Tenner for the lot. So there's like
Okay, that's
six.
a good-
There's Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, the Flash, and like another one. So
What?
Aquaman, I think.
Zod.
Another DC guy that no one cares about because they're moving.
Right? Some guy we don't give a shit about.
Yeah, and like the guy, I just thought they're so weird, and because like I use an Android phone, I was like, I'm grabbing them. Like, but yeah,
That's
like
nice. I do like that. I like weird sort of like shovelware kind of stuff that you're like that's never gonna pay off, but then it does because it's so out there and awkward. You're like, yeah, all right, cool, I'm in. What about you, bro? Billy? What's the
So
weirdest
my
thing you've
weirdest
ever bought?
find, weirdest thing I've ever bought, you know, that's toy related. It came in the bin I mentioned earlier, where it's like this classic '90s like vinyl caped villain from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Looks like a Grim Fandango dressed as Zorro.
Yeah, like it's. I mean, I can't even remember the villain's name, but it's like it just was buried in this bin, and I was like, well, shit, that made my $50 even more worth it, you know?
That's nice. That's cool. It's different.
So we've got
Anyone
any real model railways as well. Once we've finished off this, that'll be the next question.
Model railways. My kid does like trains, and I have bought him like he has an affinity for London Underground stuff. So if it's London Underground related, he'll get it, and I'll try to buy it for him. And I think I bought him the carriage. It's like a lone carriage one that they did for the Olympics, the 2012 Olympics in London. I bought one of those, and then and a few. I think they're called ECL or ELL. Whoever it was asked the question will be able to clarify. But I've bought in a few of those, and I'm sure that a lot of railway collectors, people who collect railway, will be super pissed off that I've immediately paid more money than I care to divulge on how much those things actually cost. But then immediately giving them to a 3-year-old child for him to smash around. So.
Good enough.
So yeah, I'm sure they'd be pretty. I'm sure anybody who really collects railway stuff knows how expensive those pieces can be, and are pissed off that they're in the hand of a 3-year-old just probably chipping away at the paint. And I actually follow a few railway like diecast pages on Facebook, and some of the stuff, man, the dioramas these guys build, real amazing stuff, like just detailed work. They're building platforms, London Underground platforms, and they're taking like using macro lenses to take these pictures, and they look at first glance, you know, even second glance, it looks like a real picture. It looks like a real place. You know, there's some amazingly talented people out there just doing some really good sort of like using their time during lockdown extremely wisely to like get their talents a lot better. And I raise my hat to those people because they are very good. But yeah, that's about the most railway stuff I collect is I buy expensive stuff and then give it to a 3-year-old to break.
Yeah, I've never been into toy railway. One, I don't have the space for it. Like I'm confined to one room as it is, so I, you know, sleep and toy collect in this room. So it, for me, like if I had the space, then yeah, maybe I would do it casually, not constantly buying new trains and new sets. But I would probably have like a mini diorama of a train going around like a city or something constantly. But you know, again, space. Like I'd love to set up like a like a Marvel themed diorama.
Hmm.
So it's like, it would be like New York City, and I'd have like Marvel characters floating around, and like, Spider-Man like stuck on the train permanently as you go, but that's it. That's all I'd really do.
I think I had sort of Lego train sets, probably the most I've come closest to. And then as I was a kid, it was either sort of model railways or Scalextrics, and Scalextrics took it all the time. If we had the room, it was a Scalextrics track going round. So trains didn't really get much of a look in compared to sports cars flying around a track.
I don't think I've ever in my life used a Scalextrics that didn't immediately break after I used it.
Oh, they always come off the track. If you can drive one round the track, then you're not driving it right.
Yeah, there's always that one time where you're driving the Scalextrics and you're told to take it slow round the corners so it doesn't shoot off. But you go slow round the corner, it shoots off. So
There's actually up the road from where I live. There's actually a Scalextrics sort of proper people go out there racing Scalextrics as a sort of hobby, and I can just imagine that it just must literally be cars flying at your head all the time, because that's all they ever did, when that like fly off, and then you spent an hour trying to find them under the sofa to find it was smashed to pieces or something.
I think it's amazing that there are obscure hobbies that you would never think somebody was into, like as you just said, like there's somewhere where people go and they race Scalextrics. There's a whole I don't even I'm not trying to take the piss. Like I think it's really cool that a lot of people who are into the same thing.
Stretch Screamer.
What's it called?
A Stretch Screamer.
Stretch from what franchise?
Mainly Stretch Screamers, Loose Toy Quest, action figure.
Oh,
David,
it sounds like it could be from one of those kinky websites. You see, what's really funny, Billy. Before I said that, Billy was looking down, and then I said that, and I watched his face as his head perked up. He went, naughty websites. Oh, I'm into that.
Dodgy websites.
By the way, Billy.
Suddenly, I'm interested. There's a question directed directly at me. So, what toy shops you got in Germany? So, at least in my area, the only actual dedicated toy store we have is actually, from what I've gathered, a British store, Smith's Toys.
Yeah.
So
it's Irish based, actually.
Oh, it's Irish based. Okay, cool. So back to my heritage as an Irishman. I'm going there on Monday, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I really, to be honest with you, I also cannot wait to go into just Smiths, to go in there and be able to just go to dedicated toy stuff, go see some new shit, even just to look at it, just like I said earlier,
just to look
plastic.
Because Germany offered click and collect at Smith's Toys, for the past 3 months.
We got that here too.
Yeah. So I would go pick up my click and collect order, and I'd be at the front aisle, and I could see the Lego aisle, and I'd be like, oh god, I want that set, right? And it's and if I was in the store, I would probably pick it up, but when I'm online and I'm like, oh, let me just click and collect this set, I don't think, well, what do they have this? But if I'm in the store, I'm gonna see it, and I'm gonna be like, oh, that's going in the cart, So I can't wait to just go in the store and be like, oh, yep, let me get that Black Series, that Power Rangers, let me get that Lego.
What Lego? So obviously you're into Lego right now. What sort of, I would say, iconic Lego sets do you have that are either not? For me, the only Lego really I've got that won't be bought again easily is the Friends. Well, the Friends one isn't that bad, but I've got the Friends set up. Was it the Friend? No, it's not the Friend. Sorry, the Big Bang Theory.
The Friends one is just as iconic, though.
Yeah, totally. But I've got that, and then I've got the DeLorean. So I've got the DeLorean. My most iconic one right now is probably See you later, Josh.
the most Eisley Cantina from Star Wars.
Really?
Yeah, it's I sat down.
How many pieces is that?
It was, I think, 3,600 pieces. So it's the largest Lego set I've ever built. I sat down, and I built it for 8 hours straight.
Oof.
Yeah, and it was just like, and it's a lot of tan Lego pieces, so it gets really, really boring.
Reminded me of building the with a friend of mine building the Simpsons house. Very similar. A lot of tanned Lego
Lots of-
pieces.
Like lots of so many of the same color, but like the set's amazing. It comes with 21 minifigures.
That's the new set, yeah.
Um,
That's the new one they've done.
yeah,
They've just
It
got
came
out.
out. I think it came out in October,
Yeah.
and it was. I was at the store, and I saw it there, like on the shelf, and I was like, "Man, I really want to buy that." But it was, I can't even remember the price, and I was like, I'll come. Like, if I come back again and it's here, I'll buy it. And I went home and like I talked to the wife. I was like, "It's a really good set." She's like, "Do you want it?" And I was like, yeah. She was like, "Then go see if it's there." So like I went back like 3 hours later. It was still there. I was like, "Yep, that's mine now."
The only other set I've got that's probably as intricate that I actually haven't opened is the Super Nintendo set. The Lego.
No, the Nintendo
NES.
Entertainment. So
The
that
NES one.
The NES.
so
sorry,
the
yeah.
NES would be
Yeah.
my second. Actually, I have it over here on the shelf. It's great because you turn it and
Right.
it plays through a level of Mario. It's a Nintendo. The controller is the size of an actual Nintendo controller. So it's actually a legit set. I actually ended up making, because there's a whole other Lego Mario line that a lot of people don't realize exists, where
Yeah,
it's got
you
like
can take the Mario and you put it on top of the.
yeah,
on top
they've
of
got
plays
like
the music.
QR codes. So it's like I've got a whole shelf of like I've made a diorama out of these sets with the Lego TV and NES set.
Nice.
So that's my second most iconic set.
Because if you
probably.
put Mario on top of the TV,
Plays the
doesn't
song,
it play
right?
the tune as it runs through?
It does, as long as they advertise it as you just put Mario on top, right?
Yeah.
But it's actually you have to remove like a big brick out of the way so that the QR code can be seen.
Right. Okay.
But it's still cool.
That's
It plays
great.
the theme. The way they advertise it is you put them on top, and as you spin, it can tell where you are. But no, it just plays the theme song.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it's still it's still awesome to
So
be like,
cool,
oh,
yeah.
I
mean,
just put Mario
love
in there. He's
Lego
playing the
because
music.
I refuse to put myself through that struggle mentally. It just doesn't seem to be like something I'm like, yeah, I want to sit down and put myself through that kind of stress right now with a 3-year-old running around. Like my major problem with Lego is always going to be the problem I've always had with Lego since sets became a thing, which was once I've built it, I have this really fragile toy that I can't. It's not robust. So
Where'd you pull it?
yeah, where do I put it? And if I in like the slightest nudge on a piece of furniture and it falls, and that's it, it's done, right?
Yeah.
So that's my only problem. Like I really want to buy the Batmobile, the '89 Batmobile that they've made for Lego.
Excellent set.
Yeah, I see it all the time, and I'm like, I really want to buy that. I got the money, I can get it, but I'm like, once I've built it, where do I put it? Because it'll roll off, or my kid will nudge into it, and that's just like and then once it breaks, and it's never going to be the same again. You kind of have to like take it all apart, put it back together. You really, for me, it'd more be like if I built it, I've got to build it with like a hot glue gun. So like I know that it's just never going to come apart again, and that's it. That's the display piece.
So, what's everybody's favourite game or console that Mark's asking?
For me, it'd be Zelda every time. I loved them from right from the NES through to the Super Nintendo. Then Breath of the Wild. I know a few people didn't like that game, but that game
It's
took
good
Zelda
game.
to where it was. Took Zelda to where it was for
Very good
me.
game.
I'm looking forward to the next one. But that's probably Zelda. Probably the most of the Zelda franchise is probably my favorite game. I wouldn't pick one.
For me, favorite console is definitely Xbox because I am an Xbox fanboy. But my favorite game is probably Pokemon. Like I can remember my very first game. I was 6 years old. It was Pokemon Blue. It's the first game I ever played, and it was the very first game I ever completed. And till this day, I still continue to play the Pokemon games just because of that nostalgia of being a kid, trying to complete the Pokedex, beat the Elite Four, It was just
I
yeah,
never caught them all. I'm sorry to say.
Pokemon. I
Never
even
had
You gotta
got
catch them all. You gotta catch
I
them
never-
all.
I even
more.
got the limited edition Mew that you could only get in America on Pokemon Blue.
They did that. I remember they did a whole thing. I think it might have been Games Masters or something, where like you could line up and have him put onto your cartridge. They did it in the UK. You had to go to a specific place, and like kids could line up, and then he would like link cable your Game Boy,
Yeah,
and he would put Mew onto the cartridge for you.
You can catch him in the game now. They found ways around it. You can legitimately go on and catch
the only
him
thing
now.
I remember doing was learning how to glitch the game so I could infinitely clone Master Balls, which was like in the Poker Center where you like turn it on and off. But yeah, I mean, favorite console for me has to be like it's a toss up between the SNES and the N64. Purely just because like the fucking SNES and N64. Like I just can't. I think both of my favorite games, probably my favorite games of all time, are probably on both of those consoles, which is the F-Zero franchise. I've always loved. I've always had
Really,
like
the N64 version?
F-Zero X is amazing, dude.
That was hard. That was
Oh, no, bro.
solidly hard
Bro,
compared to the SNES version.
That's
That was
how I
solid.
used to listen to albums, right? So this is like I'm showing my age where you had to buy a CD, right? So I'd go to like HMV, buy a CD, come home, and I knew that I could zone out and play F-Zero X. Like just religiously, I could play that game. And I got every single achievement you can get on that game, and I would sit there and play it and listen to albums just on repeat, just to like, do I like this album? Yes, I'm going to keep it, or no, I'm going to return it. So I think probably F-Zero. If it's a game that I've played most in my life, it would be F-Zero X. I think after that would have to be the other console would just be what I currently have, which is a PS5, which is what I use every day, and Spider-Man that came out on the PS4, probably the best
good
games
game.
I've ever played in my life. Like,
Right? Great story, great everything on that game.
yeah, 100%. Like everything about that was amazing, and like it brought me back to watching the '90s cartoon because the guy who I don't know his name, but the guy who does the voice for Peter Parker in the '90s cartoon is the voice I hear in my head when I read Spider-Man comics. So, like, yeah, he's very similar, like, you know, college age, trying to kind of work in and stuff like that, and not being in high school. And yeah, so Spider-Man, F-Zero, and then N64 or SNES. It's a hard one because I played both of them pretty religiously.
Both good consoles.
I still have them. Like, I still keep all my consoles. So, yeah, that's me.
I would have to say for myself, I would have to say Halo. I'm a big Halo fan. I love Halo.
Halo's an amazing game, bro. Like
Halo 3.
I would say
many
Halo.
Never played Halo 3.
Yeah,
Gears of
many
War.
hours on mine.
Halo 1. That was the one where I would try to like that and Metal Gear. I used to try to speed run those games on hard difficulty because I was poor. So my mum wouldn't buy me new games. I would have like second-hand games, and I would borrow them from a friend, and I tried to speed run those games as quickly as possible before I had to give them back.
I think Halo 3 for
Blockbuster rentals.
Halo 3 for me, because I used to play a lot of Quake 2 online on the PC. And then when Halo 3 came out online, that kind of had the same sort of feel as what old Quake 2 used to have online. So it was a game that we used to play a lot as teams.
Billy, you've got two questions. You got to answer this question, and you have another one.
I have
Where's the damn UCS Millennium Falcon?
Listen. All right, listen, Linda. The UCS Millennium Falcon
Listen, Linda.
costs $700, euros, whatever your currency is. And it's so big, I can't even put it anywhere like reasonable without my cat like ruining it, you know? So like
What is it that your cat knocked down last time, Billy?
so I have an AT-AT Lego set, you know? And like I was in bed a couple nights ago and there was like a giant crash and my dog woke up and was like, what the hell was that, right? And I was like, just go to, like, it was like 2 a.m. I was like, dog, shut up. Like, I want to sleep. And then I come into my office the next day, and the AT-AT's on his side, and there's, like, Lego everywhere. And I'm like, fucking cat, you know? So it's like, if I get the UCS Millennium Falcon, it's like the cat's gonna break it because it's so big that honestly, like, I don't actually have a place to store it. I already have the conundrum where Hasbro has the vintage collection Razor Crest coming out later this year. They did it as a HasLab thing where it's like basically Kickstarter but on Hasbro. So I bought that, and it's so big that honestly, like, when it shows up, I don't even know where to put it. And I'm also afraid for my wife to find out that I ordered it. But that's besides the point.
That's a different mission.
Have you guys seen that? Have you guys seen that Millennium Falcon that some guy built? It's like rising up in the sky, and it's got the.
I've seen that. That is cool.
Okay, so I know that guy.
I've never seen this.
He's the guy who runs Showmasters for the film in London Comic Con. So yeah, I actually know that dude. So I just thought, hey, if you guys have seen that piece, yeah, it's a nice piece to see up close and personal because he's got it all lit up and everything. It's really nice.
Do you know what your cat should knock down, Billy?
Sorry?
I was talking to Billy. I was like, do you know what your cat should knock down?
The fucking 2017 fucking
That's
Zord. I hate that thing.
Bane of my life. I wish I never
Bane
bought
of my
that
existence.
2017 Zord.
Right?
Wish I didn't spend
That's
30
his office.
squid on that.
That is mental, man.
That's impressive.
So it's like yeah, it must be about 8 feet up in the air, 9 feet up in the air, all built out. It's a good piece.
Does anybody have any Godzilla merchandise?
No.
Ryan?
I've got old Godzilla from the '99 film that everyone in Japan hated that I loved because
with Matthew Broderick in it.
Huh?
With Matthew Broderick in it.
Yeah, good old.
That's the Godzilla I know.
Good old murdering Matthew Broderick. Yeah, Mr. I run people over an island. It's Matthew Broderick. Yeah. Yeah, that's a horrible, terrible movie as it goes, but the toy lines are pretty good. I got the large puppet, you know, the one they did, the fucking 18-inch or 20-inch puppet that you can get that my arm absolutely doesn't fit into.
Yeah.
I bought that. I've got a few of the figures that you press at the centerpiece. But I don't have any of the older stuff or any of like the new re-releases for the movies they've done. I do like them, but this doesn't. It'd have to be like a huge. I know. Okay, so Smiths have a 50-centimeter one or a 50-inch one, quite a large one. And I've seen that, and I've gone, yeah, that's nice. I'd buy that. And I saw it for £30, and I'm kind of pissed off I didn't bite the bullet on it. I hope when I go back that they still have it and I can pick it up for like tuppence. But yeah, Godzilla's another one which is kind of like, what am I buying? You know, am I buying a Chinese knockoff or am I buying a sort of decent piece? And if you want to buy a decent piece, you're looking at I think McFarlane, right? McFarlane and NECA got the contract for that.
Yeah,
You're spending quite a lot of money for just the brand name, and then it's just going to be another piece you're just going to fucking put on the side. It's not really posable, Godzilla. You know, you can't really mess around with it. It's just like a fucking giant dinosaur. So it's kind of, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, the older stuff is I've got the older stuff, but I don't have any of the newer stuff.
I think I'm one.
When did you collect modern
that's
toy
King
lines?
Caesar.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I've only got one King Kong Godzilla figure, and that's King Caesar, I think his name is. And I'm not going to tell you where I got that for, because you'll just walk away.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm already close to walking away, not talking to you ever again anyway, Barry. Just fucking looking at the shit you keep getting for nothing. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited about the new movie. I don't know if Mechagodzilla is actually going to be in it, because everyone keeps saying that Mechagodzilla is going to be in the new film. Hi, Billy's wife. Billy's wife?
Yeah,
Yeah,
my wife. She can't hear you guys right now.
Oh, okay.
She's not much into our world of nerdness, so
say hi for me,
wives,
Billy.
many wives aren't, mate. Don't worry about it. It's not. I highly doubt that it's a singular problem. I think it's across the board. But yeah, so with the new Godzilla film, like you got Mecha Godzilla apparently is in the new one. And last time I saw Mecha Godzilla pop up in anything was in Ready Player One, and that was fucking awesome, by the way. That scene when, like, I love Gundam and I like building Gundams, which my missus calls it advanced Lego, because Gundam is pretty annoying to build. But yeah, when Saito, quite fucking his name is, when he jumps out the jet or the plane, the helicopter, whatever, and he turns into the Gundam and fights Mechagodzilla. That was pretty fucking cool.
Have you read the book on it?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I read the book before I saw the film.
Because the book is so much, like, it adds all the mechs in, because they all pick their own mech, don't they? Like pick Spider-Man's mech and things like that. And
bro,
in the books,
the amazing bit when in the movie when the Iron Giant falls down and gives a thumbs up. From Terminator,
as he's going down.
And I was like, oh, that's so sick. A lot of people shit on that film, and I'm like, nah, dude, that film was alright. You know, like they did.
It's not the book.
It's not the book. You are correct.
And you have to go. It's not the book, because if you've seen the book, if you've read the book or listened to the book, and then you watch the film, you've kind of spoiled it for yourself, because you'll compare it to the book, and it's nothing like the book. Though I've just read the second book, Ready Player 2. I don't know if you've read that yet.
No.
But if you've watched, have you watched Sword Art Online?
No.
No, anime Sword Art Online. It's very much just, he's kind of just ripped that kind of off. So you kind of the book, you kind of reading it and going, I kind of know this story already.
Well, the book, I mean, the first book was pretty finite. Like, we get it. It's done. Like, there's no need. We go into a second one? I highly doubt it. It was.
And then he wrote Armada as well, which was basically the last Starfighter.
Yeah.
And you're reading that,
Leo, that there's actually meant to be a Player 2 game movie coming out. So I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't doubt it. The way the Hollywood machine is running at the moment, it's pretty pathetic, to be honest. Like, I just really wish they would stop remaking and rehashing ideas. Like, I don't care enough. Like, I would prefer to watch something original that's pretty decent. Like, okay, it's not super original, but like Pacific Rim. Like, let's just take some giant fucking robots and put them out there and fight some giant fucking monsters. We don't need a deep dialogue. I don't really care. There is a little bit of that in there, but it's way better to just enjoy like a pretty a decent film, as opposed to just like rehashing. Let's make a remake of whatever the fuck it is this week. Like, okay, so we got the sequel to Coming to America that just dropped yesterday, right? I haven't watched it. A lot of people said it's got a lot of the ilk from the previous Coming to America stuff, which is great. I know this is a toy podcast. It's turning into a into a film podcast, but I'm getting somewhere. Don't worry. But it just feels like everything just feels like an excuse to just pump out new merchandise to you, and it's crap merchandise. Marvel films, like, I'm going to start seeing a lot.
That's actually one of the questions that I'm going to be asking before we head off as well. I'm just going to actually grab what I'm going to be talking about in a minute.
But it just feels like they're just pumping. Everything's used as a medium to pump out extra stuff. And I mean, and obviously I understand, like, when we were younger, we would watch cartoons, and it definitely, like, that's what the cartoon was for. It was to sell the toy line, right? I get that. But at the same time, I also feel that, like, at least if you're going to do it, like, at least make a decent film, create some decent content, make sure that all avenues are top notch, and not just like, the Max Steel shit. Like, they made a crap Max Steel movie so they could continue making toys because kids were buying it. Like, interestingly though, did anybody ever watch the Max Steel cartoon, like the CGI thing that came out in like the early 2000s? I watched it.
My kids watched it, I think.
that line is still one of the highest selling toy lines in Mexico. Really weird. Don't ask me why.
Random
I watched
info
some
there.
random video about it, and it was like that toy line from the 90s and the early 2000s is still one of the largest selling toy lines in Mexico that they still make. I think it's because the toy was made in Mexico and the characters vaguely ethnic, so they were like, "That's one for our team."
They
Captain
just locked
Pedro.
onto it, and
So
then
they just held on to it. Yeah. Before we move on to the next topic, I want to ask: does anybody here watch Laura Legends
No.
on YouTube?
yes, I've seen that. I've seen her on
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Yeah, all the typical tropes. Hot girl collects toys, right?
Yeah.
So
Bella's toy chest.
yeah, right. So Laura Legends in the background of what have I've asked her, but she obviously has many people asking her questions and probably will never ask my question. There is, and I've tried to find it, and I do not know what I'm searching for apart from large insert name of toy, right? She has a large vintage Captain Planet. It must be about 12 inches, give or take, maybe 14. I'm not sure. Captain Planet toy. I really want it. I'm pretty sure it's a vintage toy, but I cannot find who made it, and I cannot find it on eBay. So if anybody either in the chat or you guys can know like where I might be able to find that, I would be eternally grateful, because that is a piece I've been searching for the last few months. She has it in the background of her video. You'll see it in any of her videos. It's just a large Captain Planet sitting in an IKEA unit that we all have. We all have the Kallax, the one that's sitting behind Baz right now. And she has that. Even Billy's got it. He's got the Kallax unit for the head for the heads. I have the same Power Ranger, Red Ranger head. But I've also got the Terminator head and the Alien head, which obviously not as good as your collection, but anyway, your collection is way better than mine. But yeah, if anybody knows where I can find that figure, I'll be eternally grateful to you.
So, Smuggler's asking, do any of you collect modern lines or mainly vintage?
So I obviously, with my Power Ranger Megazord collection, obviously I don't know whether the class like the original like 90s ones as vintage or not. But obviously like, I'm starting from the original, from like Mighty Morphin Series 1, Megazord line, and working my way up to like the modern era of Power Rangers. But that, apart from that, that's like the only thing I really collect. So if you count the original 90s Megazord toy line as vintage, then both.
I think for me, I collect modern stuff as well, because obviously if you're going into a toy shop and you're only collecting vintage toys, then you're never going to buy nothing. So you kind of have to I went through the phase of buying Star Wars Funko Pops and just bought hundreds of them. Because you're going into a toy shop, and if you're collecting vintage Star Wars or any toy from the 90s, you're not going to find that in a modern toy shop. So you kind of have to collect some modern stuff, or you just, because the fun of going into a shop and buying something is there. So that's there. And obviously then remaking all Origins, sort of Masters Universe, and the retro collection for the Star Wars stuff. So it's all retro looking stuff, but it's modern. So
I have to say, I've kind of got a guilty pleasure of picking up Ben 10 stuff, like, for some reason.
Next collectible, Ben 10 will be Ben 10, because it's so cheap. My kids loved it as kids. And when they were little, we lived by Toys R Us, and we bought them Ben 10 all the time.
Haven't they re-released Ben 10? So it's not the Ben 10 I remember. It's like a new line now, right? New cartoon, new everything.
They kept doing it. They kept like even my boys within a space of years. They made loads of he had the original Ben 10 on like a skateboard, and then like a few months later, you'd go into Toys R Us, and there'd be like a whole new wave of Ben 10s, sort of looking older.
Kind of like what they did with Ninja Turtles, right? I really love
new ones, Jason.
The Nickelodeon Ninja Turtles they did were really cool. The CGI ones.
Yeah.
And then they went and fucked it all up. And they did these new ones, and these new ones are horrid and disgusting. And I'm really upset that they did that. What's
so is that the new Ben 10?
Have you seen these ones?
No, is that the new stuff? Is it or
No. This one is it's 2012 Bandai.
Someone
Like
explain
9 years.
Ben 10 to me real quick. Summarize it.
He's a kid that finds an alien watch, and when he puts the fuses to his wrist, he turns a dial to change into different alien forms to fight evil aliens.
So
10
Diver.
different aliens.
Cool, got it.
Well, it started off as 10
Yeah,
different
it
aliens.
did start
then
off
he
as
had-
10.
Then he had
Like-
an obscene amount.
Yeah, he
Is
kept
that
like
enough?
variations.
So yeah, I saw you post this, right? You posted this on one of your. Okay, is this all vintage stuff?
It's not the
vintage, but
first
older
stuff.
Ben stuff, older Ben 10 stuff.
I'm sure these are Bandai ones, but
Because they look.
these are
If you
really
look
hard.
at the comparison, right? There's that. My kid has a Ben 10 toy. If you look at the comparison of what you've just showed us and how detailed those pieces look in comparison to like the real, just solid red one with the four arms.
Yeah,
And there's not a lot of detail there, and it's just like.
they
I
didn't
just don't-
articulate or nothing.
Yeah, and that again, this just comes back to my point about like toys now versus toys when I was younger. There
It's
was
like
so
this
much
one,
more
and this one's
detail.
not got like the serum just goes up and down.
But
there's-
but look at the detail on the paintwork.
Why?
Right?
Yeah.
You're like you're getting. It's not just like a spray and pray kind of thing where it's like factory pumped out. Like maybe somebody actually sat down and put a little bit more detail into it, a little bit more effort into it.
I think the
Um,
original
yeah.
original Ben 10 figures looked almost like the vintage Star Wars figures. There was that sort of much detail they took. It was almost like the plastic was just printed the color and they were stuck together and pushed out. But then it was kids were loving it, weren't they? It was a new superhero.
What was this question you wanted to ask us, Baz?
The question I was going to ask is that has anybody ever tried any customizing?
I have one custom
No.
piece. I think I've shown you before, which I'll actually bring down in a second whilst everyone is talking, so you guys can answer that
The
question.
reason that I was asking this is because I've got one Marvel figure that I think should have come with an extra pair of hands, but it just come with standard hands. So last week I decided to do my own custom. So I've got the Captain America, the werewolf one. So I've actually attempted to actually try and make him some claws.
Okay.
That does good. That actually suits the figure more than what like original hands would.
Does it come with like human hands originally, does it? Or
It does, aye. It's just come with standard hands. It's like it comes with a standard Captain America head that you can swap when you put the wolf one, and it's like, why did you put claws in? So
yeah. If they're gonna make the transformation.
I was going through my box accessories, and I come across a pair of green hands that looked like were claws. So I don't know where I got them from. So I was talking to one of the other boys. Chris knows who I'll be talking about. Rab, man, he does a lot of his own customs and dioramas, man. You should check him out on Instagram. I think it's Robo. Do you remember what his Instagram?
He said it the other night, and it's completely gone from my head.
No, it's just completely went for me. But he does a lot of his own dioramas and that. Hopefully, the next time with day one, I'll try and get you back in, Jason, and you should see some of the stuff. Man, he's done Star Wars figures, and he's customized them. He's done Power Rangers. He's got like the cheap Power Rangers, and he's customized them into like Star Wars characters and that. But we talked to him, and it's like I was asking him the best way to do it. And it's like the only way you're going to find out is if you do it yourself. But it's also there's Thomas. What's his name on this? There's another guy in our group, and he does a lot of 3 3/4 inch customs. Man, some of his customs are awesome.
I just actually joined a group on Facebook that doing customized Masters Universe figures, and the guys actually they're like remaking the molds and everything, so they're sort of almost perfect to how they originally were, and they're recasting like Beastman but in yellow and things, and it's come into a science of its own. Do you know that it's not 3D printing it, like they're going right back to how they originally were made and recasting them from that, which is phenomenal.
I saw somebody custom a this is just scrolling through online. They took that really shitty plastic hollow Hulkbuster and they gave it like a new look. So they took it all apart, resprayed it, and gave it like the battle worn look to it, which looked really cool. Like a lot of gunpla techniques were used, kind of thing, like to make it look battle worn. There's another one I saw where somebody took the head off that same figure and put an R2D2 head in there on the Hulkbuster and painted it white and blue. And I thought that was pretty.
But it looked right, did it? Did it look like?
Yeah, bro. Like
it looked like.
Pretty sure you can Google it. If you guys, somebody Googles it, I'm pretty sure you'll find it. Just type in R2D2 Hulkbuster and see if you find a pretty decent image of it. I'm sure somebody, because I saw a toy of it, but I think it was inspired by a Photoshop that somebody did, and somebody went, I reckon I could do that, and they did it, and it looked pretty cool.
I've seen quite a big fad because I collect a lot of die-cast cars as well.
Yeah,
and I'm big into an anime called Initial D.
Yeah,
and,
I know Initial D. Yeah,
people are repainting the die-cast cars to look like they're from the comic. So they're doing like the line art on the actual die-cast cars and everything, and then putting them in a diorama, taking a photo, and it actually looks like, at first glance, you just go, oh, it's just a page out of a comic book. And then they've sort of took the photo and they spin it round and it's sort of 3D it. And
some of those,
it's just a skill,
are legit, bro. Like I saw a guy. I'm part of a diecast figure group on Facebook. I don't really comment on it. I just look at what the cool stuff they got. And one guy had a Mitsubishi Evo, and he took a picture of it on the street. And at first glance, I legitimately thought it was just an Evo, and then I realized what group I was looking at, and I was like, because I was just scrolling through, I was like, oh, diecast. It's a diecast. It's a diecast car. I was like, wow, that's fucking sick. So this is the custom piece I've got, by the way. So this is a Diamond Select. Diamond.
Yeah,
Select,
I remember you showing that.
Yeah. Juggernaut, which I think it's probably a knockoff, but it's got weight to it. But I mean, the detail on it is pretty decent, and I don't know where he got the shield to go with it, but yeah, I mean, it's done right, and I think it looks really, really just different. It's not something I would normally see, so I was pretty chuffed with that when I picked that up. So I got that.
Baz, in backstage, I've got an image. I've shared my screen with the Hulkbuster with R2D2's head. I don't know if you can put. There we go. Is that the one you're on about, Leo?
That's the one I'm on about. Yeah.
I managed to find an image of it. That actually looks pretty sick. I
know, bro. That looks legit.
I'm quite impressed of how well they've done the paint job on it, and they've got all the detail of what R2 would have on there as well.
Mm-hmm. So when you see that, you're like, yeah, that's all that is that somebody that's just taken that really Jippo-y armor, and then they've just glued a R2D2 head in there and then repainted the entire thing. So
man.
Only because Billy didn't see it, because I think he walked off to get told.
Oh, I think Billy caught it at the end.
No.
I caught it right at the end.
This is the piece I was talking about, Billy.
The Juggernaut, but
so Juggernaut painted
I like that.
Captain America.
I'll be back in a minute.
Hey, Billy, you've got a custom piece. I'm sure you'd like to show off.
Oh, listen, Linda.
So
I was going to tell you about my one custom fail. Where, so if you can think back to Bandai Power Rangers.
That's all it is, bro. It's not a fail. It's just a lesson.
Yeah, it's a lesson. So if you can think back to Bandai's Legacy Collection of Power Rangers, they released Zeo Gold Ranger, but all of his armor and anything that was gold on him was yellow. But, I bought the figure because, I'm a schmuck. I'll buy anything Power Rangers. And I told my wife, I was like, hey, you're going to paint this gold for me. Because she's an artsy, crafty kind of gal, So she got this penned off of Amazon, and I was like, all right, you're going to paint anything that is yellow gold. So it's like I had her paint as much as she could, and then a hand fell off, and then if I touch the gold, the paint is all over me. we clearly bought the wrong marker for this adventure. Right? So it was like, so it literally just sits in a drawer, like off to the side now. If you look at, like, I have a Zeo Ranger shelf.
And that's not on it.
Yeah, gold is nowhere to be seen.
Why
Thankfully-
don't you just treat it with some spray?
At this point, like, I already have a new one from Hasbro for the new Hasbro Lightning Collection.
Ah, fair
So it's like, and it's like parts of the gold, parts of the black has gold on it now. It's a ruined figure at this point.
yeah, I get you.
So I count it as a lesson in the art of I'm not painting shit anymore. You know,
You got to give it a go, though. You got to give it a go to see that you can't do it.
Bro. That's
I
the
did it
important
once.
thing, isn't it?
and
It didn't work out. Now you know where the line is. And you're like,
I'll pay
"That's what I
professionals
want
to
us."
do it now. I'll pay
Right.
people to do it now.
because like, I'm at the point where, because Hasbro Lightning Collection has released the Psycho Rangers. They released 2 of them and then re-released them all as a 5-pack, so you can get them all at once.
It's a great way
So
of making money.
Doing
innit?
an extra red. So I'm about to like just find somebody to paint one in silver for me. Which, granted, Hasbro will just release the silver one anyways, and then I'll pay the fucking $22 for it anyways.
Oh yeah, I want the Psycho Rangers set.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Psycho
I-
Ranger set is great, except for the fact that when I was in Scotland on vacation, I found the blue one and I bought it and I brought it all the way back, and then I got the red one that was in a 2-pack, and now Hasbro has already released. So that 2-pack was Lost Galaxy Red and Psycho Red. Both figures have already been re-released a second time. It's a whole like. Hasbro knows how to get money, man. I'm 100% of it. They know how to get
Bro,
into my
that's what
pocket.
that's what
As much-
Build a Figure is, man. Build a Figure was the biggest jip that they've ever done to the toy community was the Build a Figure. To me, it's the way I see it.
Honestly,
It's like let's
I
package
can't
all the
believe they
crap
haven't
toys
Build a
that we
Figure.
never know we're not going to sell in the series and put one part of one toy that everyone's going to buy, and we're going to
Exactly.
force you to fucking buy the whole set if you want to complete this. F
I'm
you.
shocked. I'm shocked they have not done Build-A-Figure for Power Rangers yet. And I think they only haven't done it because Bandai did it. So they're like, oh, we're not going to do that, you know? We're not going to try to get everybody to buy it all. But then they're getting everybody to buy it all anyways.
Yeah, because they done that in the
Bandai
Legacy,
did that Bandai
done that in the
did
Legacy
Sword
line,
Fighter.
didn't they, Billy? There was a Build a Zord.
Yeah, Legacy Line did the Build-A-Figure. But then Hasbro didn't. And honestly, I'm surprised Hasbro isn't just trying to like randomly drop it in because we're like 3 years into Hasbro now. I'm surprised they're like, and we're going to do Build-A-Figure now.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, Build a Figure for me is just it just feels like the biggest scam on the consumer when it comes to toys.
Yeah.
But surely they've missed a trick there. Surely they've missed a trick by where they could have just made everyone get these figures because there's a Build-A-Figure. But the collectors know they haven't got them in a box because they've come as part figures. And then like a year later, just drop the figure in the box, in its own box. So
Yeah,
you spent all that money buying
they
6
won't do
figures
that.
for one
The reason
figure.
They won't do that is that they'd rather flog the line, the back end stuff that they don't have. Like again, we spoke about this in depth last time, me, Chris, and Baz, but it wasn't live, so I'll mention it again. Look at, and I specifically mentioned the because I'm looking at it. But if you look at the Build-A-Figure for King Shark, it is horrendous. Like it's the line that you buy for that is so bad. And like, just look, if somebody somewhere, any of you, just bring up the Joker. Just bring up the King Shark Build-A-Figure Joker. Have a look at that figure. It's disgusting. It's like nothing about it is aesthetically pleasing. It's just this weird, muscly, poorly formed toy in a suit. It's horrible. And they know that they would never. That toy's probably been sitting in some sort of factory. In some warehouse. That's the one. I hate that figure. I absolutely hate it. I think it's horrid.
That's nothing like the Joker.
It's nothing like the Joker. Nobody, if you sold that toy on its own, no fucking idiot would buy that toy.
No.
Except for Baz. Because he probably got an amazing.
He only got it for 5p. It'd be fine. It cost him 5p.
Yeah, he probably
No,
got it for
I got this
10p.
off Amazon for $8.99.
But my point is, right, nobody, no, like person's gonna buy that for their kid. I think it's a horrid toy personally, and they're like, all right, we're gonna package this with a part that we know everyone wants to build, because you look at King Shark, the only King Shark figures you can buy are either really crummy ones, the Build-A-Figure one, which you have to buy separately, or the Primal series one that Pop Figures made. That's it. You know, built like King Shark is like one of the greatest toys you can buy as a Build-A-Figure.
See, the only reason I bought this is because I'm a Joker and Harley collector.
Yeah, fair enough.
Hopefully one day when they do the next one, I'll try and work out how to actually do the pictures, and I'll show you exactly what I've got. I've got different variations of the Joker and Harley.
If you look at the lines that come with some of the stuff, that Joker figure that you've got is not the worst figure. There is another one which I think probably Barry has, which is the one where he's in a pinstripe suit and his legs don't even bend, and it's just a really horrible figure.
But then what I'm saying is, if they say that line, however old that line is, and they're not producing those 7
That's the
figures
one.
or whatever,
Hate it.
if
show
they
that to the camera properly, show that to the camera, show its articulation, it's just so everyone can really truly understand the articulation of this figure. Yeah, it's literally a standing figure. It's arms. Move one of his arms. His arms don't bend. That arm goes straight, and the other one's already bent. That's it. It's all it does.
Scope's
horrible.
amazing.
And his face. Look at his face. Get the fuck out of here. No way.
But what I'm saying is, if they brought the shark out now as a separate figure, if they brought that shark out as a separate figure now, would people not buy it? Even though they've already dropped their money on getting all this.
They probably would. But the problem is that you have to, like, is there enough? I guess you got to build the buzz for it. Is there enough buzz to build to a Build-A-Figure now? Like the series that they built, I think they re-released Build-A-Figures. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. 2018, 2017. They redid the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure, and the first run in like 2005 was way better than what they did recently. The problem is that, like, do people care enough about King Shark, for example? Probably not. I do. I have 2 of them.
Okay.
But you know, like they're not. Again, it just comes back to
that's on the King Shark I've got.
Yeah. So that's not the that's the Primal one, right? Is that the Primal one?
No, that's the Spin Masters version.
Right. So if you see the other, if anybody Googles what the Build-A-Figure, I just can't be bothered to go get it right now. What the Build-A-Figure King Shark looks like, if you guys Google that, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's a way more detailed, way nicer figure, and it looks a lot more menacing. I think my girlfriend's just about to go get up and get it. She's looking at it going, She's sitting there. We just ordered Pizza Hut. That's why.
See, you never know. D&M's may get that Boulder series set in at some point. I tell you, if they did, I'd be all over it. Like,
I just think as a company, if they released the wave and it was just a set of Build-A-Figures, the figures from the Build-A-Figure waves they've done. So I know it'd devalue the collector's market, because the collectors then won't be necessarily hunting the individual toys to get the Build-A-Figure. But as a business opportunity, they release a wave and they're just like, these 6 were Build-A-Figures from like 2014, 15, 16, 17 waves. Then collectors will buy them, surely.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. If they did, that would be great. I'd love to own a box version of this. I'd love to own a box version of the Apocalypse, and you know, I'd like to have like a diorama box version of Pit. That would be amazing. But
they've done that with
do it or not.
They've done that with the Venom figure as well.
Have they done it with what? Sorry,
they've done that with the new Venom figure that come out. It was a Build-A-Figure.
Yeah,
and then
I remember you saying. Yeah, it's so.
I went bought it. I didn't realise it was a Build-A-Figure. It was a Build-A-Figure. It was the exact same as the Build-A-Figure.
Because they've got the molds, they've got everything they need. They're not remolding anything. They just repack. Just somebody gives it a new packaging, and there's another £20-30 for everyone to spend.
If there's a fire, what item do you grab on your way out? Family pets are safe. NECA. I'm picking up my NECA Balrog. That's what I'm taking with me. That's the one figure I take with me. My missus hates it, but it's massive, and I'll take it with
My
me.
Starship, I would pick up my Playout Kai Starship Trooper figure because that's like a 400 quid figure.
Playouts Kai, yeah, that's
figure I've got.
yeah, that's a good figure, man. The Playouts Kai, they got their figures on point. But yeah, I'd probably, unless it was if I when I start collecting Hot Toys, which is the next thing I'm going to start buying, I'm going to get a 209 Hot Toys.
Nice.
But I just don't know. There's two versions, so I need to look at them both to figure out which one I buy. But yeah, that's like gonna be a big purchase. But yeah, if I don't have that at the time of the fire, it's the Balrog, NECA Balrog.
Mine would be this.
You just click his fingers and be done.
You could stop the fire, you know. You just click your fingers, no more fire.
I would
Click his fingers.
probably grab my Infinity Gauntlet.
Never go back.
Just because this was a birthday present from a friend, and I know how much it cost at the time. So
Don't make me grab both of them, Chris.
I've only got the one.
I've got both. Don't make me grab them.
What would you take, Billy?
So we're saying, all right, there's a fire, and I gotta grab one thing on my way out.
Oh,
thank you, Smiles Canyon. It is a sick figure.
Well,
That's why I have
obviously,
two of them.
the wife, the cat, the dog, and then toy. I'm probably gonna grab my one and only hot toy,
Which is
of course you're gonna get it. Of course,
the
you're gonna grab it.
Mandalorian hot toy. I've got him in
Okay.
like an acrylic case. It's a whole thing. Grab
yeah.
him.
Can we see it?
I
Can you
don't
turn
Yeah,
the camera?
let- Here, I'm gonna have her grab him.
Don't drop it. Don't drop it.
Right, don't drop it. It's just worth at least one car payment.
Comes flying across the screen.
See this
What's
guy.
amazing is he has a black toy on a black series on top, and she didn't drop that. But like, I'm probably grabbing this boy.
Oh, that's nice.
Right? Like he's beautiful. I love him.
Oh, you can't really tell yeah.
I got the deluxe version, which is full Beskar armor with Baby Yoda, Grogu, whatever you want to call him. Got that on the way. I'm grabbing this if there's a fire.
Yo, keep it large screen for a sec. Go back to the large screen. I'm trying to have like a proper look at your collection here.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So
man. That's good.
we got a mix of helmets, between Marvel, Black Series, 2 custom made helmets. I just
You know
actually
what?
reworked this all today.
Where I'd really love to go, so because I can see you've got the Power Center. Power Center, what's it called? Ranger
Command Center.
Oh, the command center.
Command Center.
The 90s,
I'd love
yeah.
to actually go to that real building in California.
Same. Yeah.
I'd love to go take a few pictures outside there. That'd be awesome. But
So
yeah, it's a nice collection, man.
There's one like official Power Rangers convention called Paramorphicon. COVID has, essentially ruined it at this point. But whenever it comes back, they always have on like the Thursday before the con, they all go to that building because it's like an hour away from the con.
Yeah.
So eventually one day, if COVID will ever let me leave my damn country I'm in, I'm going and I'm gonna do this.
The wife's like, no way, you ain't going.
You're safe in the country at least. At least we're kind of safe. than
But I think
other countries like the United States. What's living right?
Well, no, it's
yeah.
the Powerwolfcon right now is planned for summer of 22.
Right. Yeah.
So if the world's not normal by then,
It
like
should be.
fuck,
We
we're
gotta-
like, what is happening?
We
You
should
know?
be. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
So I have a
Nah,
question for
that's the
everybody
dream.
here.
Go on.
What's your favorite like role playing toy? So obviously, like weapon or anything. Or if you don't have one, what would you want as?
Is this a big
role-playing?
rod reference?
I mean, maybe.
Is this a what reference? Sorry.
So, at another place that me and Chris hang out, we talk about like every time we get out our big rods,
Okay.
we get out our biggest sword generally.
Yeah.
So it seems like that's what he wants right now.
It's a
So
male
you're saying
thing.
like,
Have
hold
a
on.
dick
So,
or take out your sword, I guess, at that
so
point.
what
It's
would
literally-
what would be like your dream weapon that you could have in real life? Is what you're saying?
Oh god.
Well, not just in real life, like as like a prop or a toy line for the like them to bring
Right.
out.
He's
Okay.
going. Okay, there we go.
I get you. So if you could have like a proper toy line or something, like, okay, I understand. What would I have? Bro, I would like to get like maybe some movie used Guyver stuff from the Guyver films.
Yeah.
Maybe like I'd like to have like a bust from the actual prop of the movie. That's what I would get. What's this sword from you have there?
I'm
Billy?
hoping that's the Sword of Omens he's got there.
No, he's got Excalibur, right? Is that Excalibur?
No, it's Aragorn's sword from Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Ah.
I can't remember what it's called, but yeah.
I can't remember the exact name, but yeah, I know it is Aragorn's sword from Lord of the Rings.
Okay, so seeing as we're saying that, then it would be Frostborn. I'd get that you know that Frostborn that's about 10 grand worth of sword. From World of Warcraft. Is it World of Warcraft? World of Warcraft?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd get the Frostborn sword. That's it. Seeing as we're doing swords now, yeah, Frostborn.
See,
sure.
I go a bit different with this because I would say that I don't think there's a child or an adult who picks up a lightsaber and doesn't make the noise and swing it around. I think it's just universally as a cosplay prop that speaks to everybody. Everybody will pick that up, make a whooshing noise, and spin it around. Yeah,
right.
Even if they don't spend hours watching every episode of Star Wars.
Watching this stuff, but I still know.
I have my own lightsaber, so
And it is. I'm in it.
I'm sure my kids, like when they could pick up toy lightsabers, they made the noise without even seeing the movie. It was just inherently in their DNA. If they pick a lightsaber up, you make a whooshing sign, and then you make the whooshes as you spin it around. And I think it's one of those things that no matter how old you are, when you pick up a lot like with those Force FX lightsabers, you pick them up and flick them on, you just smile. You just smile. It's a lightsaber, you know. It's a lightsaber. Like and the idea of going to Galaxy's Edge and building your own lightsaber, that's got some credit to it, surely. Do you know it's your lightsaber? You're not got Obi-Wan's. But for me, regardless of all the other cool things, like I said, Sword of Omens for Lino, that was cool. But a lightsaber speaks to every generation.
MacGyver. I don't mean MacGyver, which is also your point is pretty funny. MacGyver, that would just be everyday stuff like no Guyver, as in Guyver Bio Boosted Armor, Guyver. So you'd have to it's like an Japanese manga anime cartoon.
Did it start off because I can remember watching that series on VHS from MacGyver.
So
I used to buy them from like MVC or something.
Yeah, so it was a long running manga comic, and then in Japan, and then they did like an OVA for 12 episodes.
Yeah, I think that's what I watched.
They did one one OVA first, and then they redid it, which was sorry, my girlfriend's telling me to point at the well, I might be able to do it if I can. Hold on, I'll switch my camera around. Hold on 1 second. No idea how to do this. Yeah, the Guyver films, yeah. So you've got anybody know how I switch cameras around on this thing?
No, I don't.
No, I'm not
I'm using PC, so
how I do it, like how I would do it for. It doesn't matter. Forget it. Anyway, so the point is, Guyver is it started off as a manga, then it was a cartoon. Like one episode they did that was like half an hour long, then 12 episodes, and then they remade them in 2005, and they were 24 episodes or 26 episodes. Either way, it's a fucking violent anime about a kid who finds an alien suit, and he wears it, and then he fight all manner of monsters he has to fight, which just reminded me of Ben 10.
So
to be fair, they did a live film, didn't they? And it wasn't that bad.
They did 2 live movies. One was called The Guyver with another name for it was Mutronics, and it is pretty terrible, to be honest.
Okay then.
But it's got Mark Hamill in it. And then the second one was a bit more serious. Same director, Well, the first one was directed by 2 people. Second one was directed by 1 guy, and the main character is David Hayter from Metal Gear fame.
Okay.
So the guy
I
who
must have been
does-
young and impressionable when I watched it. So,
Yeah, I was super young and impressionable when I watched the first one. The second one's a bit more serious. Martial arts is a bit better. It's a lot more of. Has anyone seen the film Drive with Mark Dacascos?
Mm-hmm.
Right,
No.
same director as that. So, and you know, David Hayter's in that as well as a very, very brief cameo part as a police officer who walks into the bar and tries to hold him at gunpoint. If anybody rewatches that movie, watch the scene where he goes into the bar and the police officers run in after he's killed a bunch of people. One of them is David Hayter. Fun
Okay.
fact.
So my prop is my favorite one at the moment is the Zeo
Dude,
Gold
that's
Star.
totally nice.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, Billy's giving the thumbs down. Why?
just that light up at the top.
Because he just wanted to bring out his big rod. That's all.
I just want to bring out my big rod. But I think like if I could own any prop from any movie, it would be the Highlander sword.
Which one?
Be Conor
Has it got a
McLeod.
name?
I don't actually know if it has a name, but it'd be Conor McLeod's sword from Highlander, just because I grew up watching Highlander so much that to have that sword on my wall would just be amazing.
You know what you need to do? You need to call up Christopher Lambert and ask him to apologize to you for Highlander 2.
And 3 and 4.
And the series they did.
No, the series was all right.
That was
all right.
Duncan MacLeod. That was Duncan
was
MacLeod.
all right, mate. He was all right. Don't
I would have to say, it's probably my original Dragon Dagger.
I sold one of those on eBay recently for about £70. Was it you that bought it by any chance?
That's too expensive for him.
No,
Yeah. He
I've had
bought
that
that.
for
I tell you,
10
I
years.
know exactly how much he paid for that. He paid £7. I bet you £7, and he found it somewhere in
But I
some.
got to say, the Jolly Green Giant.
He went.
Are you
I'll tell
okay
where he
there,
got it
Biggie?
from. He stole it out of a child's hands. This poor little child who was just trying to make some extra money for school, and Baz came along and just like Shylocked him out of it for £7. Poor
I can't
boy.
make it the price that I paid for it. But I think it was either $19.99 or $9.99 I paid for it.
It was either $19.99 or $9.99. I'll put the decimal point where it's appropriate.
But I got this for the Jolly Green Giant. And how long has the Jolly Green Giant been shut?
I don't even know what is the Jolly. Is that a
Yeah.
toy store?
Nothing down here with that.
Yeah, we don't have that. And Jolly Green Giant for me is the fucking
Sweet
It
corn.
was like a,
sweet corn. Yeah,
It's like
Green
Toys R
Giant.
Us.
Ho, ho, ho.
it's like a
Green
Toys R
Giant.
Us.
Oh, okay, yeah, that must be up your.
Toys R Us kind of thing, eh?
That must be a regional thing that we don't know about, because I don't know about it. Anyway, right, guys, I have had a pizza from Pizza Hut sitting in front of me for the past 45 minutes. So, as much as I am enjoying this, I'm gonna love you and leave you guys because I want to eat.
So that's saying is that I'm just going to wrap up anyway, man, because that's
Cool.
us in nearly 2.5 hours kind of thing.
Yeah, we've been going on for a while. Guys, it's been a big pleasure talking to you guys. I really appreciated like the chat and getting to know new people and obviously seeing Chris and Baz again. Yeah, it's been really cool, man. So like, peace out. Thank you very much for the great conversation. I look forward to Baz doing this again with other people. Baz, get more people on, man. I'm totally down for watching you do. Obviously, if it's like I'm not in it or anybody else is not in it, that's great. But I'm totally happy to just watch and support. And I hope everybody else does the same for Baz because he does really good content, and really good pickups, and good questions and stuff, man. Thank you for having me on.
Nice
Honestly,
chatting.
I'm impressed with how
Thanks to everybody that's joined this live stream tonight and all the guys that are watching and all the comments. I wasn't expecting to get as much comments as this. I was only expecting to get about 2 or 3 views, to be honest with you. But I do appreciate it, man.
No, you're welcome. It's been fun.
Yeah, man, this has been fun. Honestly, I'm impressed with how many viewers you've had this whole time. Like, awesome first stream for you.
Yeah, it's really good. Really good.
Yeah.
Guys. I told
Honestly,
you,
I've
man,
not actually been looking at
doesn't
the
need
how
to be
many views I've
professional, just put the
been going.
content out, man. You've got a
Every
good
bit to look at
personality
it.
and you're a good dude. People are gonna want to watch you talk about toys and talk about it with your friends, man. So yeah, you know, don't feel disheartened in any way. It's really good. We all had a good time.
I kind of never really spoke very much, but he's been for a
Doesn't
wee
matter,
bit. But
man. You hosted it, right? It was your idea, so it's your baby. So that's the important thing. So, you know, like you brought people together, bro.
Yeah.
well, we're going to call this a night, and if I get any feedback, then we'll do another one. So
Cool.
Yeah.
No problem.
Good
Enjoy
night.
it again.
Take care.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
See you later,
Yeah.
guys.
Fuck
Take care.
yes.
Bye bye.
Stay healthy and take care. Night
Same
night.
to you. Be safe.